We tease a lot of stuff that's never been delivered here.
Well,
so.
don't say that. Maybe the bosses don't know, but yeah, got a little habit of that.
They don't know. Listen to the opening of the show, then listen through the end and see what happens.
Don't tell the secrets, man. Don't tell the secrets.
Everybody knows, Brent. It's all right, though. It's kind of like our calling card.
Yeah, a little bit. I guess the hangover effect.
There we go.
And
I
multiple
like
respects. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos here on a Thursday. And Blake Snell, I was afraid of this. Major League Baseball, we'll talk about it coming up in a bit, but the players are not going to get the public opinion.
Yeah.
Not going to get the public perception. And Blake Snell, as a pitcher for Tampa Bay, and he was on Twitch because he loves the gaming, and he got a big following there, and he's on it all the time. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he was maybe influenced, whether he was sober or not. I have no idea, and he was just spouting off. But what he said is so fascinating because I want to get your take on it from a player perspective. And then outside the player perspective, how will it be received? And I already know which way that is going. And it's even in my own house I was interested. I played it for Ty because he's a Tampa fan, so he likes Blake Snell. And so I wanted to get his reaction to it as well. But this is a little bit of the issue I think Major League Baseball will have over the next few weeks in terms of trying to negotiate. And the players have a chance to come off looking not so great to the public. But are they right? Yeah, that's a different story. Those are two different things to get into here on a Thursday on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. We continue to celebrate local sports. We've been doing this throughout the pandemic, and we will continue to do so. Now, we might run out of teams, and we're getting toward the end, but we still have a few teams left. Yep. And we did this in no particular order, by the way. Just sometimes, like we did the Jumbo Shrimp when it lined up with their opening day. That would have been their home opener. We did like JU and UNF right around the time where colleges were finding out that they weren't going to have their spring seasons. And so the Jacksonville Armada today is who we will celebrate in local sports. So we'll have Nathan Walter on, the president and GM of the Jacksonville Armada. And here's the biggest question about the Jacksonville Armada. What are they doing? What are they doing? Are they playing? Are they still alive? Do they have big visions?
Yeah.
And I don't say that tongue-in-cheek. Like, you seriously wonder, as a sports fan here in the area, it's been a little bit difficult to follow the Armada. And a little bit of that is soccer. So soccer can be – we're not all in tune with how to follow the structure of soccer, especially here in the States. And where the Armada has been, where they are going, I think they still have major plans here in Jacksonville, but they are one of the most unique organizations in terms of the relationship with the city of Jacksonville that I've seen in my dozen years, and maybe in the history of the city of Jacksonville. Kind of the way they started big, they sold to a different group, and then they kind of went dark because of the collapse of the league. And now they're reshuffling things once again, and I still think they have plans to try to build a stadium and try to be a big presence here in Jacksonville. But usually what you'll see is if something doesn't work, it's gone. Or if it's not working the way people want it, it's gone. That's not necessarily the case with the Armada, and so we'll get into that a little bit. The Armada, with a cool name.
Of course.
Right? Had a nice little
cool logo
following right after. Soccer growing, that Section 904. It was fun to go to some of those soccer games for the Armada. Problem is, for the fans, they haven't had soccer games to go to. Yeah. And I almost wonder if this benefits them a little bit, this pandemic, because they are in kind of this transition time where they're trying to get all their ducks in a row. And so it's not at least harming them to not be playing, because they wouldn't be playing that much anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's not harming them from that, but obviously the future remains a big question mark right now. So I'm curious to kind of pick a few brains here to see where they're at, because there was big aspirations, and that's great and everything. That's great for the city of Jacksonville, and if you're a resident here in Jacksonville, you should be excited. Anytime sports teams can make that next step and build and grow, it's good for the city. Unfortunately, right now there's not a lot of things growing just because of the pandemic going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyson Holyfield in their 50s. Would you watch it? How watched would it be? And is it an exhibition? Is it a joke? Does it hurt their legacies by doing something? If it were to happen, I think it's still a big if. There's a lot going around now that Mike is training. And
well, did you see Evander Holyfield training too?
And Holyfield's training. So what are they doing here? Is this a charitable opportunity? Is this a real thing? But you know what? It's almost like forget about that. Let's play the hypothetical. Mike Tyson, one of the biggest draws ever, maybe in sports. If he were to fight, and even if it was anybody, but especially Holyfield, how locked in would you be to that to see it, even if you'd have to tell yourself, what am I doing here?
So would I be locked in to see it? Yes. Now, depending on how much it costs, would I buy it? That's a different question.
Yeah,
okay.
good
Like,
point.
listen, these guys are in their 50s. Okay. Obviously past their primes. And once again, far be it from me to say, to Mike Tyson, hey, man, you shouldn't probably box because it's probably not the best for your health. But, I mean, that's not me talking. That's science. Obviously, when you get up there in age, any punishment that you take, I think it's going to have lasting effects. Like, if I'm doing MMA till the age of 50, someone just cut my cord. Like, seriously, just say, you're absolutely done. You're not fighting anymore. Like, seriously, if I'm fighting till the age of 50, there's something wrong with me. And I get it. Mike Tyson and Vander Holyfield, there's still a lot of unfinished business, obviously. The ear-biting incident. And it's funny because the whole ear-biting incident was really my introduction to watching Mike Tyson live. I forgot how old I was, but I remember being in a bowling alley watching that take place. And I thought, ear-biting, that must be part of boxing. Like, I was really young. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that was kind of my introduction to Mike Tyson. Obviously, as I got older, I went back and, watched old school videos and everything like that. But it's two big names. I think Mike Tyson being the bigger name. I think he is big with any generation. He carries that much weight, whether he's in The Hangover, whether his Broadway show on HBO, whether it's his cartoon on Cartoon Network. Like, people know who Mike Tyson is. But I wonder that if it's just, is the juice worth the squeeze, in terms of health. And I get if it's for charity, that's a good cause. But here's my point. And I'm going to play matchmaker real quick. Kuz, how old are you?
28.
It
Okay.
took a while. Are you okay?
You would say you're kind of like you're kind of like a voice of like the millennial generation, correct? I mean, you're a little older, but like you're still hip to it, correct?
Yeah, the millennial generation right now is saying we don't elect Kuz.
No, for sure, but
they don't want me to.
No,
but sure.
but I mean, I think you know what I'm saying, though, right? Like you kind of have your finger on the pulse of like the younger crowds more than I do, I think, and more than Brent does.
Well, I am on TikTok.
There you go. Enough said. Give me 3 facts about Evander Holyfield.
I got nothing for you.
Okay. Give me, do you know who Jake or Logan Paul are?
I do know who those guys are.
Who are those guys?
They're YouTube streamers. And
give me
also set up fights.
Give me one popular video of Jake Paul or Logan Paul. I don't care. I don't know. You make it up. Just give me one popular video.
I think Logan Paul got in trouble because he went to Japan and like the suicide forest.
Okay.
He like did a video there.
So you obviously know who he is, right?
Oh, I know that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Brent, do you know who did the biggest boxing numbers last year in terms of a setup for fighting? It happened on DAZN. Do you know who had the biggest fight last year? It was Jake and Logan Paul. Okay. They fought YouTube stars themselves.
Oh, I remember that.
He also called out Antonio Brown.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And he wants to fight Antonio Brown now. But here's my point.
I remember all that. Yeah.
Here's my point. Okay. I don't know Jake or Logan Paul personally. Okay. One could say that if you film someone killing themselves in the suicide forest, you're probably not the smartest individual. Okay. Obviously. And I think that these two guys, they're in the need for views. They're in the need for entertainment. And to be fair, they're both pretty good athletes. Now, I think, is Logan Paul the guy that's the bigger one, Kuz, or Jake? I don't know him.
I think Logan's the older one.
Okay, so we'll say Logan. So Logan, former wrestler, wants to get in MMA, all this stuff. Actually trained with some UFC fighters. Why wouldn't you get like a Logan Paul versus a Mike Tyson? For a couple reasons. Number one, could Logan Paul beat Mike Tyson? Slim chance, in you know what, but at least like for Mike Tyson, that's a good fight. Okay. Number two, it puts eyes on Logan Paul, right? Because that's what he's all about.
And that's what they want.
All about the entertainment and everything. Can you imagine like if you're a YouTube star, you're fighting Mike Tyson? Like that's like something to put on your resume right there. And then number three, you bring the eyes that, are for Logan Paul, and then you bring the old heads for Mike Tyson. It's not all about charity anymore. It's about old school versus new school. Because when Logan Paul or Jake Paul had their boxing match, the old school boxing heads hated it. They're like, what? This isn't boxing. Like, literally, the biggest pay-per-view comes from YouTube stars. You guys are killing the sport. So why not have it where, like, you have an old school guy like Mike Tyson take on a new YouTube guy like Jake or Logan Paul?
That's a great idea.
That, to me, is the money fight.
I'm pretty sure because of them, it spawned a lot of like celebrities. Like, remember when Justin Bieber was calling out like Tom Cruise?
Oh, of course.
I think it's because they saw the numbers and you can make money off it.
It all started with them. So my point is, why wouldn't you capitalize on the biggest fight of all time? and have like a Mike Tyson versus a Logan or Jake Paul.
And I'm no like expert, but I have a feeling like I think Mike Tyson would just absolutely wreck him because I mean,
Well,
But that's what people want to see
But that's what
anyway.
people want to see
Yeah.
because either you love Logan or Jake Paul or you hate them. But the fact is, you're tuning in to watch them either get knocked out or to watch history be made. But you're going to tune in to watch it.
Mike Tyson, one of the most fascinating athletes of all time, because he really, from a persona standpoint, for the first 25 years at least of his life, felt like a villain. And like, why would you celebrate him? Why would you support that? Well, he certainly loosened that. He has become less of that after serving time in prison, after biting the ear off of Holyfield. And it's almost like he now has this great respect of people. People are in awe of seeing that's Mike Tyson. You know, it's a really strange relationship with people and fans for Mike Tyson, who really is a strange guy. I mean, to be quite honest, I mean, he's one of the most unique personas, and obviously one of the great power punchers and boxers of all time. So it's fascinating. You know, speaking of the images. The image of him biting the ear is one of the most well-known in sport. You brought up a great topic yesterday we didn't get to, but Bobby Orr, that fly across, that Superman across the ice, which is one of the great still images of all time.
First Stanley Cup for Boston.
Yeah, and was the
Blues.
anniversary of it in the last week or so.
Yep.
So you brought up a great, what are some of the great images of all time? Why do we love still images? Even in this day and age, right? Of video and HD video, and we love those kind of shots. What are some of the greats of all time? We'll get into that a little bit later. What makes a great image? And obviously, in a monumental time, Tyson and Holyfield and that extraordinary event, that helps an image. But it's not always those kind of events that makes a great image. So we'll talk a little bit about that side of things as well. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we will talk the state of Florida, but also the state of the college game in sports and how, forget about football, but the landscape is changing. And then if you add football in, will the landscape change? I always wondered this for the last however many years. As salaries were going up, what is the tipping point? How much can you pay a college coach? Well, are we about to find out that universities, even the great programs, can only afford so much? And you either pay the coach or you lose other sports? You either support football the way it does because it makes so much money, or you lose other sports. And are you willing to do that? Could you have Title IX ramifications? All these other things. There's a complex issue going on, I think, in college athletics right now that probably makes ADs all over the country, from smaller schools to big schools, very, very nervous. We'll talk about it next. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Breezy and mild through this afternoon into early this evening with an isolated sprinkle or very light shower, and then partly cloudy overnight, dropping into the low to mid-60s. Breezy tomorrow, a partly sunny Friday with an isolated shower, highs in the 80s inland, 70s at the beaches, and windy Saturday. It'll be partly sunny with an isolated shower and in the mid-80s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
Weather is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Right now, get 5 years, 0 interest financing on anything in the store. Beard's Diamonds.
J. David Tax Law wants you to know that they are here to help individuals and businesses with tax debt issues during the coronavirus pandemic. Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Tax problems can be extremely stressful, especially now. If you owe a tax debt, there are new programs available that can help reduce or eliminate your IRS or sales tax burden. These programs expire on July 15th, so don't wait. Get the help you need with tax debt, payroll taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens, and unfiled returns. With a $1 trillion economic stimulus package on the way, the IRS will be collecting an unprecedented amount of tax debt to fund this historic initiative. At J. David Tax Law, only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you. Never trust your tax situation to anyone you can't walk in and look in the eye. If you have federal or state sales tax debt, have a sit down with J. David Tax Law. Your first step is a no-cost consultation. Call J. David Tax Law at 904-507-4777 or go to jdavidtaxlaw.com.
Hello?
Hey, boss.
Why are you calling me?
Well, I was gonna come over, but I thought I should be practicing social distancing.
Oh, that's responsible of you.
Thanks. So I'm calling because I want to read you this new article in the Crooks of Us newsletter.
If it's about Safe Touch security, I don't want to hear it.
Boss, you'll want to hear this. The headline reads, Safer at Home with Safe Touch Security.
Safer at home with Safe Touch?
Yeah, it says, with people staying home more than ever these days, Safe Touch Security is the answer for peace of mind at home.
Yeah, the guaranteed response time, the two-way communicator, the video monitoring.
Yeah, and more.
Great. So what you're telling me is, whether they're home or not, the Crooks of Us motto is stronger than ever. Stay away from Safe Touch houses.
It's written in stone, boss.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Hi, I'm Nathan from Gordon Chevy in Orange Park. We're all about saving you money, especially right now, where we all need great deals to put smiles on our faces. So check out a hot new Silverado and save up to $9,500, or a new Equinox crossover and save up to $6,500. Plus, you can delay the first payment for up to 4 months. Check out the deals at GordonChevy.com, arrange for home delivery, curbside pickup, or visit us in our freshly cleaned showroom. We are here to accommodate. Gordon Chevy and the money-saving end of Blanding in Orange Park. Chevy, find new roads.
America, your children have an amazing superpower. That's right. They can help save lives by simply washing their hands. Just 20 seconds of thorough hand washing after they've coughed or sneezed or been outside can help fight against the dastardly spread of germs. Armed with only soap and water and hands, your superhero can protect you, your family, and everyone out there in America land. Amazing! Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau. We at Action Sports Shacks hope you and your family are doing well. Coronavirus has forced a lot of people to choose between buying food and keeping the lights on. Whether you're one of these people or not, we're all living through this pandemic together. We've partnered with Feeding Northeast Florida for a virtual food drive so you can help without leaving your house. To donate now, go to ESPN690.com.
It's me, DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, the king of bada bing. This is Action Sports Jacks. Bang!
We have to over-communicate with the parents. Because, look, if it's my kid, I'm not putting them on a plane to South Bend, Indiana. Nobody drives to our campus. We have very few kids within 3 hours of our campus. You're putting your son on a plane to Notre Dame. I better know exactly what's in place for my son when he gets there, that he's not going to get sick. And so we have to do a really good job of putting this together so we can over-communicate with the parents as well.
Pretty insightful and I think honest from Brian Kelly, Notre Dame head coach, on the football side of things. And I think everybody's just, behind the curtain of college football where, everybody's concerned about the pandemic and blah, blah, blah. And I don't mean it like blah, 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 but you get my point. I think it is a little blah, blah, blah to them because it's all about money at the end of the day. So it's kind of refreshing to hear Brian Kelly say what he's saying. There is an actual concern. It's concern about the student athletes. It's concern about the players. You haven't heard many guys say that. At least I haven't. I haven't listened to every coach. I'm sure some have. But for Brian Kelly, high-profile Notre Dame, to say that, whereas I think the conversation going on in college football so much is, we don't need everybody. We just go play. And why? What's the motivation? Well, one, it would give us a leg up in branding. It would give us a leg up over everybody else anyway because we're playing and you're not. And really the most important reason, it's money. Money to our program. We won't suffer. We're going to get the dollars coming in. And that's just being real. That's the way it is. And whether that's wrong or not, I don't know. That's big business. And the NCAA and college football and college basketball is big business. They don't want to admit it, but it is. And it was refreshing to hear Brian Kelly say that in that respect to what about the student athletes? I would be concerned if I was sending my kid there. I don't know how I would feel if I'm sending my kids to high school. I don't know how I would feel about sending my kids to universities right now with people coming from all over the country, not just driving in, but even if they were driving in from different parts of the state of Florida or coming in from Georgia, you're coming from different areas. I would say I would probably think as long as they feel like they're comfortable with it, I would probably be comfortable with it. But I have to trust a lot of people in that process to do so and know that it's not just about dollars. And if I'm being completely honest with myself, it's usually about dollars.
Listen, when you say they feel comfortable, do you mean the coaches feel comfortable with bringing the student athletes in, or are you talking
Parents.
about the – okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
like I would probably send my kid. Right?
Sure.
If like Tennessee says it's opening up, I don't have many reservations about it. They say you're ready. You think you're opening up? You're ready to open up? You're going to take the precautions? I trust you to do it.
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind, I do know the reason we really want to open up and make sure we're doing things is the almighty dollar.
Of
You got
course.
to be careful about that, but that's just part of it.
It is, and obviously with COVID-19, it affects, more of the older crowd than actually like this, the symptoms and everything. So, assuming that, your kid goes to school, your kid plays a sport or something like that, you at least feel confident in terms of, well, at least they're healthy, and that could help out, combat COVID-19. It is a slippery slope, right? Because you don't be the one parent that says, no, you can't go. And like all of a sudden everybody else is going, right? That's like,
and
that's
nobody
like,
ever gets sick.
That's like being the parent that doesn't let your kid go to a sleepover when everybody else does, and then all of a sudden you're made fun of because you didn't get to go. So you kind of have to go with the status quo here a little bit. But at the same time, I'll say this, though. It is refreshing to know that there are coaches out there, like, at Notre Dame, where the student athlete is still considered, right? Where they aren't just pawns in a chess game that's trying to make money. Like, they actually care about the student athlete's well-being. And that's refreshing to hear, because all I've been reading about is, what are universities going to do if they're on the football season? How are they going to afford this? How are they going to afford that? Yeah. But what about the student athletes getting ready to participate? What about the kids getting back on campus? What is their health going to be like? That's what we should be asking ourselves right now.
Yeah, and I think I'm not, by the way, I understand there's a lot of Notre Dame haters out there, and I'm not saying Brian Kelly's the only one doing this. I just, in a soundbite like that, at least he's acknowledging that. I'm sure Notre Dame cares about some of the dollars in football as well.
And Brian Kelly needs a season to go off without a hitch, because if they just play at conference opponents, what's Notre Dame going to do?
Well, it's a great call on how they would process all that.
Yeah.
How would they go about the scheduling? Now, would they be able to adopt into that ACC? Because they kind of do anyway. They've got that hybrid setup.
A little bit, yeah.
Or will some of the independents continue to play each other, which they have in the past?
Well, if that's the case, then I'm not giving you guys the UCF treatment. Like, you're going to play a bunch of cream puffs. You're not going to get a chance to go to the playoffs as far as I'm concerned then, if that's Notre Dame.
Yeah, absolutely. This is less about football today, and although I do have one football topic, but I want to get to this first. Division II, I think, in the state of California, Division II conference said, hey, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
Like next year in the fall, no fall sports. We brought up yesterday the MAC, and this one really got my attention. I told you this yesterday. Conference tournaments no longer for the next 4 years. What is the domino effect going to be at places like UNF and JU? And again, those places don't have football. JU not anymore. UNF doesn't. They do have basketball. That's a primary sport. But what is going to happen to all these other sports? And what do you say about all those other sports? I know everybody from a fan perspective says, it's football and basketball. It's Power 5 football, Power 5 basketball. Okay, yep. I get it. But you know what? Is your kid playing track and field? Is your kid playing lacrosse? My kids are baseball and softball. I played Division II baseball. You're telling me if I had to go back and they're going to tell me I can't play? There's an opportunity that was one of my fondest times of being alive, was playing Division II baseball, and it wasn't, nobody cared that I played it, but I did. You're taking those opportunities away from kids. How many are those going to suffer? And not only at the D2 level, I'm talking about any kind of level, because we've already seen men's soccer go away in Cincinnati. There's talk about other programs. This will be a catalyst to get other programs eliminated because it's an excuse. And then, of course, the Title IX factor comes in, and schools will really have to be careful of that on the women's side too.
Well, and keep in mind too, with the MAC making these changes, field hockey, men's soccer, women's men's tennis, women's lacrosse, softball, and baseball, all their conference tournaments are getting cut. But actually, the basketballs will, teams will still be able to feature in the conference tournament. They cut it down from 12 to 8, and obviously there still will be a conference championship for football as well. But they are making, the necessarily adjustments to try to combat what's going on right now, and it goes to show you. It goes to show you where if you play field hockey, if you play soccer, if you play tennis, lacrosse, let's be honest, you're not as valuable to a university as a football player or sometimes as a basketball player. And that's the truth. And it's a hard truth to face, but it is what it is from that standpoint. So once again, will more conferences take note? Obviously the MAC, they're a little bit on the smaller side, but I wouldn't be surprised if more schools start taking note. Obviously, when you talk about sports that aren't bringing a lot of revenue to their schools.
Well, listen, and I think people that you might have a little bit of a complex over that or whatever. The reality is what you just said. Football and basketball usually brings in money. There might be other places. Like, does baseball bring in money at Mississippi State? Probably. I mean, they pack that place. It's a brand new stadium. They do really well. They get great exposure, College World Series. I'm sure they make dollars. LSU probably the same way. But overall, you can't sit here and tell me that it's a big revenue sport for most colleges is baseball or lacrosse or others. There are opportunities, and some are unique in their own different way. But it's basketball and football. We get that. But that doesn't mean that you don't like playing it. That doesn't mean that they're an important part of the community aspect, the athletic programs on a college campus. And it also means a lot of opportunity for kids could potentially go away. You know, that's a carrot that dangles for a lot of high school athletes, for people that do travel ball or whatever else. Now, I think it's kind of a misnomer that a lot of people do this investment in travel ball and all this stuff for scholarships. Heck, if you're talking baseball, there's 11.8 scholarships. The chances are you're not going to make up for the money you spent on travel ball anyway. Quite frankly, if you're being honest with yourself, that's a different topic. But the opportunity, is it about to go away for a lot of different people and players and kids around the country on the outside of this? I to some degree, I would say yes. I think there will be we're already seeing it. Opportunity to play men's soccer in Cincinnati no longer exists.
Yeah, I mean, you're losing the chance to get a scholarship. You're losing the chance, to really play athletic sports in high school, because some kids, that is the goal. The goal is to get a scholarship. The goal is to get your college paid for. And if the journey that you're on right now doesn't provide that in high school, well, then the only logical thing would be to switch sports and try something else. So, this really could hurt sports like baseball. This could hurt softball. Obviously, football is going to always flourish. I think even basketball, too, as well. But, yes, this could hurt some of the smaller sports at every single university, because now all of a sudden it's not about getting a scholarship at some of these things. Maybe it's about something else. So I agree with you.
Florida Tech is a Division II school down in the Melbourne area. They already have said no more football, disbanding that. That's like 120 people, I think I read, with coaches and staff members and players that don't get the opportunity. That's at the Division II level. And a lot of people, again, are like, whatever, who cares? Well, if your kid's good enough to play Division II but not Division I, you probably would care. There's a lot of opportunities. Just to let you know, there's more than just the football conversations. That's my point of this. Minnesota, Wisconsin thrown for losses in sports budget crunch is one headline. Cincinnati drops men's soccer. Old Dominion cuts wrestling, citing financial impact of COVID-19. Louisville furloughs 45 athletic department staffers. Boise State coaches athletic staff furloughed. Colorado athletic director, 3 head coaches take 10% pay cut. PJ Fleck, unpaid week. We makes $4.9 million. Who cares? Syracuse coaches Jim Boeheim, Dino Babers, pay cut. Rutgers athletic director, 3 highest paid coaches, pay cut. Kansas Les Miles, Bill Self, Jeff Long, salary cuts. Texas Tech trims $7 million from the athletic budget. See, it's bigger than just football and big-name coaches and big-name basketball as well. We'll get back to it, because I think when you talk about the big names and the high salaries, is that about to change? Could that change? Have we reached finally the tipping point in college football and college basketball of these absurd salaries? We'll get to that in a bit. But first, when we come back, we celebrate the Jacksonville Armada. Where are they in their quest to win over soccer here in Northeast Florida? Nathan Walter joins us next on ESPN 690. Hey, everyone, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 10 different platforms. But if you missed the show, you missed this. Dana White with us, president of the UFC.
You don't realize how much you miss live sports. I'd even watch golf right now.
Oh, Dana, don't say that, man. I have to talk about golf like twice a week on this show.
Subscribe to the podcast and check the show out on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Get the podcast daily. All you have to do is search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
Hey, Jacksonville, are you ready for some good news? Right now, you can score tremendous savings during the construction sale at Arlington Toyota. You choose 0 down with low payments, or no payments until 2021. Now that's huge. Get to Arlington today, where you can drive away in a Toyota Corolla for $199 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. That's a pre-owned Corolla for $199 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. How about a Toyota Camry for $249 a month with 0 0 down or no payments till 2021. That's a pre-owned Camry for $249 a month with 0 down or no payments until 2021. Plus, with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And you get Arlington's 30-day exchange policy on any vehicle you purchase. As always, your safety is Arlington's priority. So go see them today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com. May offers for full details.
We've had our new AC unit from Bold City Heating and Air for over a year now, and the entire experience has been great. Hey, everyone, this is Brent Martineau. You can trust Bold City Heating and Air like my family has. Right now, Bold City Heating and Air is offering easy financing for repairs or new air conditioning units and a $500 cash rebate for a new air conditioning installation. Get 0% financing for 12 months or 9.9% for up to 96 months. Don't put off that new AC unit or repairs. Get it done now before the season really heats up. The Bold City team is focused on your safety and takes maximum precautions to sanitize and create a safe work zone. For a free, no-obligation consultation and price quote, visit boldcityac.com. Your AC unit is a very important investment for you and your family. So do what my family did. Go to boldcityac.com. You can trust Bold City Heating and Air.
Where is this water coming from?
Who will deliver us lunch?
Why is the air conditioner blowing hot air?
Where can I get a tire fixed?
Do you know someone who can get marker stains out of the carpet?
What do we need to do to get the pool ready?
These and hundreds of other questions are still being asked daily. Will the answer be your business or your competitors? Don't leave it to chance. Let Cox Media Group Jacksonville make you the answer to their questions. Contact us at 245-8732 or email buildjax@cmg.com and let's build Jax.
I'm Action News Jax Tanika Hughes. As our communities work to get back to normal, Action News Jax will continue to be on the front lines.
Answering your questions about our local economy.
There's reason for optimism.
A dedicated reporter every day covering unemployment. Here to make sure state and city leaders are putting your health first.
The mayor will be ready to answer my specific questions.
I'm Action News Jax John Bachman. We know you have questions, and we will find the answers.
Action News Jax. Jax, recovery strong.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small, but businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you. Mellow Mushroom, Coast to Coast Fence, Beaches Fence and Deck, Toy Haulers Transportation, Chris White Lawyer, Tropical Lawns. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
Tire Outlet, the local name in tires that you know and trust, is now offering mobile installation. Tire Outlet mobile installation is safe, no hassle, quick, and same day at your home or office. A Tire Outlet professional will bring and install your tires right on site while staying safely distanced. The only thing easier than getting new tires with mobile installation is making the appointment. Call 904-600-0089 to reserve an appointment. Tire Outlet is part of the First Coast community and is in this with you.
These days, the whole world is on the internet 24/7, on their phones, at work, even at the dinner table. It's the internet all the time. So why, when it's time to sell your home, does your traditional agent charge you 6% to list it on the MLS to other agents instead of targeting buyers directly online? That's why Rex was born. For a fee starting at 2%, Rex sells your home where buyers are looking, online, optimized by data-driven marketing, not the MLS. To get started, visit sellwithrex.com. That's sellwithrex.com. With Rex, selling or buying a home has never been easier. Price your home, get a virtual consultation, visit online open houses and showings, all from the comfort of your home with a few clicks of a button. Want to learn more? Visit sellwithrex.com or just use your phone and call 833-REX-HOME. 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. License number CQ1057788. Minimum fee may apply. Rex fully supports the principles of the Fair Housing Act and Equal Opportunity Act.
Our normal way of life has been changing quickly due to coronavirus. New rules to follow, and basically all sports have been put on hold. Heck, you might even be working from home. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. If you're not in the car from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m., check in on Action Sports Jax on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos on a Thursday. And what we've been doing during the pandemic is trying to celebrate local sports. All the local sports franchises, some of the colleges as well. Really had a lot of fun doing it, partly because we want to reintroduce you or keep them relevant to the teams that kind of make our local sports scene go. But I also think for a lot of these teams, everything has hit the pause button. I think they've earned the opportunity to kind of fill us in on what's going on, how they're dealing with the pandemic, but also we want them to keep churning after this thing is all done. So really a lot of different reasons why, but we've enjoyed it, had a lot of fun with it, and it's been great having some of the guests on and some of the organizations. And today it's Jacksonville Armada Day. Of course, the soccer team in town. But what is going on with the Jacksonville Armada? It has been a time of transition over the last couple of years or so. We've had this man in before. Nathan Walter joins us right now on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. He is the president and general manager of the Armada. Nathan, how you doing, man? Hope you and your family are doing well.
Hey, how are you all? Yes, very well. Yes, we feel very fortunate and very thankful. But all well.
That's good to hear, man. And tell us how the Jacksonville Armada doing. You guys came out with some news that we'll get into a little bit later on earlier this week. But I think I told you this, I think for our listeners, for people who are fans of the Armada, I think it has been a high time of transition. Tell us where that part is. Where is this soccer club?
Yeah, absolutely. As you know, every time we get on here, there's little updates. There's certain moving parts, and we thought we were starting to move and trek in the right direction. And then, unfortunately, this pandemic has obviously made a global impression on the world, and everything's kind of paused. So, the stadium stuff right now is obviously on pause. Luckily, our local market will hopefully rebound a lot quicker than some of the global markets out there. But so the stadium piece is on pause right now. The U23 season was cancelled. We were supposed to kick off May 7th, and obviously that's been cancelled for the summer. And then obviously we've had some youth transition, which we'll get onto further in the conversation. But it's. It's an evolving world right now, and we're kind of just trying to be flexible on the situation and keep moving forward and strategically lining ourselves up to obviously, come back on this rebirth and do the right things basically in the market.
Nathan Walter with us here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Jacksonville Armada Day. He's the president and GM of the Armada. I almost feel like there's like a timeline of things ever since the sale of the Armada and then the cancellation of the league. How have you guys weathered all of this and kind of strategically developed a plan that you knew would take a little bit of time because finding the right spot is so key? So how has that been? Is it on schedule? Has it been a longer timeline than you hoped? Where you guys are in that regard?
Yeah, so obviously we were trekking with the city council approved the option agreement on the land opportunity. That was back in end of January, beginning of February, and things were moving. Lots of good conversation. We were getting prepared to obviously close on the site and start the rezoning process on the site. But obviously with the pandemic coming at the time it did, it's obviously slowed us down, and we're not quite sure, if I'm completely honest with you, what that time frame looks like. Right now, we're probably sitting at a 6 month delay. But as time keeps going on here, and as we keep moving forward, it could be a little longer. Now, our time frame for the stadium, we still have the time frames implemented with our agreement with the city. So we're fully aware of that, and we're fully aware certain things are going to be done by certain times. So, but we're not. It's not panic mode right now. Everything's still very much available, and so that's kind of the stadium piece right now, and obviously the stadium piece lines up the future league collaboration and what that looks like. Look, we're talking to different leagues right now, trying to understand what's the best position for the Jacksonville Armada for the future sustainability of the club. Unfortunately, in U.S. soccer, the stadium comes before the league. And, as you know, in Jacksonville, we didn't have a soccer-specific stadium that ticked the boxes for the professional league standards of professional leagues in the United States. So we're obviously working hard to tick those boxes, and then the league situation will kind of fall into place once we are fully ticked on the checklist of the professional league standards.
Well, that's a great explanation of it. Yeah, I think you answered a lot of questions right there. It's almost the old, if you build it, they will come, right?
Right, exactly right.
So let me just be blunt with you here and say, does the future of the Jacksonville Armada, the success of the organization, I guess the security of being here in Jacksonville long-term, all depend on the stadium?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at any example across the U.S. in lower league soccer and even in major league soccer, the teams that have been successful are the teams that have sustainability through their own stadium and a good stadium deal where, look, by all means, we're not monetizing the stadium enough to become multi-millionaires. It just does not happen. What the stadium will allow us to do, though, is to stabilize and know that, each year we're hitting revenues to enable the team to keep playing. It's obviously an investment in itself. There is a legacy play, which we've said this before with Robert, and he's still fully committed to this market, and he's fully committed to the project and making sure that he sees it through.
That's Robert Palmer, by the way, RP Funding. Go ahead, Austin.
Nathan, you mentioned a little bit of it, and can you talk about, the MLS elite youth development platform that you guys are kind of switching to now? What went into that, and what is the plan going forward now with the youth program? Yeah, absolutely. So I'll talk about the our youth strategy first, and then I'll get onto the MLS program that the Jacksonville FC Youth Academy have just joined. So our strategy, going back a few years with the previous ownership, there was a partnership formed between the Jacksonville FC and the Armada, and it was an intellectual property agreement, and there was some funding given to the Armada or the Jacksonville FC Youth Academy. Now, when the league took over the team, that agreement was kind of put to the side, and it was said when a new owner comes in and takes over the team, we had to, reevaluate that whole situation. That was a 5-year agreement at that point. Now, when Robert came in, we obviously sat down with the board of the JFC, of Jacksonville FC, and we said, look, we understand there's a bad situation here. We understand it's a very complicated situation here. We're willing to do a 2-year intellectual property agreement and navigate ourselves through this. And within 2 years, which is where we sit today, where that intellectual property agreement finishes on June 1st, it was best in our eyes, in the eyes of the Armada, to become a all-inclusive pro team. So we didn't have a certain youth affiliate. You have programs like Florida Elite. You have other minor programs within Northeast Florida. And with us being exclusive just to one youth academy, it really shut the doors on those other academies and those other children. So we've really, really focused our strategy on saying, do you know what? Let's be inclusive to everybody. Let's take away that barrier. It was great. It was great for the youth club. I mean, they grew astronomically. I want to say they improved by about 1,500 members over the 2 to 3 years of the partnership using the Armada IP. So, it affected good things and positive things. But at this point where the Armada and the strategy that we have to move forward, and we'll be announcing some grassroots stuff that, we're going to be doing over the next 12 to 18 months, once we get through this pandemic. That announcement will be coming out here shortly.
but we have a whole grassroots strategy that we want to implement to make sure the game, the beautiful game, is inclusive to everybody, and there's an opportunity for everybody to play it. We don't need to get involved in building out a youth academy and then all of a sudden being seen as competing, in the youth market. We want to be there to support it, help it, raise it, and then at some point, we hope there's a possibility that we can, at the high level, at the elite level, that we can sign a player to a professional Armada contract and have a homegrown type local player representing the Armada. So we had this whole youth strategy change. On the MLS side, the U.S. Soccer used to have the U.S. Development Academy, and JSC, or the Jacksonville Armada at the time, was an affiliate of the U.S. Development Academy. U.S. Soccer just came out and announced that they are going to remove that program. And basically what MLS have done have just gone and picked up that program. So MLS have gone and picked up that program, said, you know what, we're going to rebrand it MLS. We're going to change a couple of things internally, which I have to say I'm actually pro to. I think there's some really good changes in it. But all they've basically done is picked up what was the U.S. Development Academy program and made it the MLS Academy program. So what that means is, quote unquote, again, there's no one officially saying this, but quote unquote, it's the highest level of youth soccer in the country, right? So our local players will be playing against Inter Miami, they'll be playing against Orlando City, they'll be playing against Tampa Bay Rowdies. All these teams that they played with in the U.S. Development Academy, they're now going to be playing in this MLS Elite Academy. So basically, it's just a rebranding and some minor changes to, internally how the league is going to be run. So very exciting for the market. Great stuff for JFC. And Pat Cannon, the executive director there, has obviously put the club in a great position for them to still be seen as an elite club for those players. So, yes, very good stuff. All very good stuff.
Nathan Walter with us here at Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. We celebrate the Jacksonville Armada, celebrate local sports. He's the president and GM of the Armada. I'm not too smart of a guy, Nathan. So the way I get it here is I believe there's kind of two real big tentacles to the Armada and kind of a long-term sustainable success. One, you said the stadium, but also the second part is that youth program, youth development, being a part of it, grow soccer in the area. Is that accurate?
Yeah. You want the game to grow, right? And culture is something that people talk a lot about, and I don't think people really truly understand it when it comes to a big, broad understanding of culture. What we're trying to do is make people... So I believe soccer in the United States is a very generational thing. And so when I moved here 10 years ago, there wasn't many parents who coached kids who had actually played the game. Now you're seeing kids within these youth programs where the parents played at college or the parents played at a PDL level, at semi-pro, soccer level. What you're starting to see is this generational thing where the more these players and people are seeing soccer, the more it's ingraining into the culture, right? And I think within the next, the World Cup's coming up in 2026. I think what we're about to see over this next 10-year generation is a real love for the game and a real understanding of the game. Now, what we want to do is the Jacksonville Armada. Again, we don't want to compete with youth academies. What we want to do is support them by going out there and getting into, I'm probably going to give away what our release is, but, we want to get into the school programs. We want to do after-school programming. We want to do neighborhood clinics. We want to help and support just the community in general to understand what the game is and to fall in love with the game like I did at the age of 5, right? If we can create memories through the game of football or soccer, that's what we want to do. And that's going to be our youth strategy for this period of time.
Yeah, very well said. Nathan Walter with us here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Is there anybody else like you guys right now? And I guess the patience you guys have had, Robert Palmer, yourself, to navigate through this time? Because right now the Armada, if I understand, it doesn't have a coach or players, hasn't played a match in a very long time. How unusual is this for the patience?
There is. Unfortunately, when U.S. Soccer decided to take away the North American Soccer League sanctioning, there was 10 clubs that basically fell into this situation. Now, a few of them have moved on. They've gone into different leagues and they're kicking off. But they had a potential they had a stadium option to do that, right?
Okay.
We didn't. When Robert came in and took over the club, we knew we needed to sort out a stadium deal. We needed to have a deal that made sense. We needed a venue that made sense. And those clubs that don't have that stadium are the same clubs that are in our situation. So everybody's working really, really hard to get to this point where we can have sustainability through a stadium before kicking a soccer ball.
Okay.
Makes
a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But I think the fans around here appreciate that patience. I think they want to see the other side of it sometime, but I think they understand it. And there are some diehard Armada fans who want to see this thing survive and grow. Last part of it, you mentioned esports, the Armada getting into the esports game a little bit. Explain that.
Yes. Yeah. So we've competed in the lower league E-Cup. Luis Lorendi, our esports player, has competed in the cup. Esports is something that is, as you know, is growing, and it's got even more exposure and growth during this pandemic because it's literally it's just you and someone sitting on a computer and playing. So there's no real social interaction physically, but esports is something that's important to us. We're seeing it as a growth, and we're seeing it as another venture under the Armada brand. So we're going to keep pushing that. We unfortunately missed out on a tournament. The MPSL just created an EMPSL. Unfortunately, we missed out on that tournament, but we are going to be playing more tournaments here in the future. And we're definitely growing that brand, and esports is something that's really important to us that we want to keep pushing forward.
Good stuff. I love having you on today, and again for the Armada fans out there, and we're celebrating local sports. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, even if we're not seeing the Armada's name on a scoreboard, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it don't stop. I'm grinding away each day, and at some point I hope I can sit in that stadium and just smile and look at everybody enjoy it. And talking about the fans, Brent, you're absolutely right. We have some unbelievable people who are flying the flag, who are cheering us on. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about them. And we want to do it the right way. So that's why we just got to be a little bit more patient.
Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate the work that's going into it. Can't wait to see the other side of it. And always good to have you on. Nathan Walter, President and GM of the Jacksonville Armada. Be well, man.
Thanks, guys. All the best.
Yeah, all right. Thank you. Jacksonville Armada Day here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Coming up a little bit later on, we'll have Stuart Weber on. He really knows this stuff. He did the play-by-play for the Armada, kind of knows where it sits, so we'll get a little different perspective. And what the Armada, what do they mean to the city of Jacksonville? Again, there is a hardcore base that was going to those games, loved waving that flag, loved the idea of soccer. And sounds like from what Nathan just said, hanging around to see where this thing goes sometime down the road, hopefully sooner than later. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. All right, let's talk a little more Tyson. Tyson Holyfield. Tyson, do you want to see it happen? What are your thoughts? We've got some responses on social media. We'll get to that and a whole bunch more next on ESPN 690.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats.
Judge Judy is set to end after the show's 25th season, but that doesn't mean Judge Judy is going away. The Mega Millionaire syndication queen will begin production on a new show called Judy Justice.
Oh, you know who made the decision? Viacom. They're clearing her off the books to make room for Romo.
It's a good guess.
Cap space.
You want more from the Dan Le Batard Show? Check out the podcast, wherever you get your podcast.
Hello?
Hey, boss, how's it going?
Hanging like a hermit.
I hear you. Hey, how's your mom doing? I know you're worried because she lives alone and all.
She's good, thanks. Every night she's getting dinner delivered. And every night she answers the door with her SafeTouch security app.
Ah, no contact delivery.
Yeah, and SafeTouch cameras are encrypted with all kinds of safeguards.
Yeah, you don't see headlines about SafeTouch systems getting hacked.
Exactly. Can't believe I'm saying it, but I just feel better knowing she has SafeTouch. She's got her emergency buttons, her two-way communicator, the guaranteed response time.
Boss, sounds like you have a love-hate relationship with SafeTouch.
That's complicated. Because being crooks and all, we still gotta stick to the Crooks R Us motto. Stay away from SafeTouch houses. Yeah, the struggle is real.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Hello, I'm Chuck Barnes. At Barnes & Cohen, we're pulling out all the stops to protect your health and ours. We have the latest software that enables our staff who are at high risk to work remotely without sacrificing first-class representation. Our offices remain open. We have a sanitized conference room, but maybe your best option, meet us here in our courtyard. Barnes & Cohen will continue to serve you in the safest way possible.
Hey, Jacksonville, are you ready for some good news? Right now, you can score tremendous savings during the construction sale at Arlington Toyota. You choose 0 down with low payments or no payments until 2021. Now that's huge. Get to Arlington today, where you can drive away in a Toyota Corolla for $199 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. That's a pre-owned Corolla for $199 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. How about a Toyota Camry for $249 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021? That's a pre-owned Camry for $249 a month with 0 down or no payments until 2021. Plus, with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And you get Arlington's 30-day exchange policy on any vehicle you purchase. As always, your safety is Arlington's priority. So go see him today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com. May offers for full details.
One of the best ways to take care of your family is having clean, purified water. Trust me, I know, thanks to Connecticut. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. With a Connecticut system from CGC Water, you can remove up to 99% of contaminants. The team at CGC is taking extra precautions with in-home visits, offering no-contact sales and service appointments. And CGC has extended their current promotion. Buy a Connecticut Premier Softener and save 50% on a K5 reverse osmosis drinking water system. Connecticut Premier Softeners are non-electric and have twin tanks, making them super efficient, and they use less salt. And remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. They will test your tap water so you can better understand what is in your water, and you will be able to make more informed decisions about what you and your family are drinking. It's free, and there are no obligations to buy anything. Financing is available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeastern Georgia, CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Take a look out your window right now. Things appear basically the same, but you know they're not. Same with your business. There have been changes, some might even be permanent. Only time will tell. But in the meantime, how will you respond? Stay the course, or will you explore the new opportunities in front of you? At Cox Media Group Jacksonville, we know that those who explore often discover wonderful new things. If you're willing, we're able to help. Contact us at 245-8732 or email buildjax@cmg.com. And let's build Jax.
Redbox has top entertainment when you need it most. Get ready for some high-speed family excitement. Based on the global video game franchise from Sega, Sonic the Hedgehog is here. Can Sonic defeat evil genius Dr. Robotnik, played by none other than Jim Carrey? And save the world? Let Redbox bring you together, because connection is everything, now more than ever. Make it a family movie night and visit redbox.com for all the ways to watch. Prices may vary by location, subject to applicable taxes. Additional terms at redbox.com.
Right now, it feels like the world's standing still. But if you look to the land, it's a whole different story. From farms to backyards, wheels are turning, seeds are being planted, animals are getting fed, grass is growing, and families are giving their all to the soil. Because no matter how uncertain things get, the land never stops. So to all those linked to the land, John Deere says thank you. We're here for you because we all run together. Nothing runs like a deer.
Trade Pros. Ferguson is committed to making business with us the easiest part of your day. Ferguson.com is designed to help run your business from the office to the job site by making your day-to-day activities easier with 24/7 account access, unmatched online inventory, and on-the-go account management. And with our Pro Plus customer loyalty program, you can earn points with every online purchase, redeemable for merchandise, event tickets, trips, and more. Sign up today at Ferguson.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Me and Coach Gruden go back like 7 years or 8 years, and we get along great. And I had a good understanding for the offense that he runs and a good feel for it. I was in the same city for 7 years, but we had probably 4 or 5 different offensive coordinators. So, learning a new offense can be challenging at times. You feel like you're never going to get it. And then eventually over time and all the reps, it clicks. But just having that familiarity with the offense is really nice.
That is new Jaguars tight end Tyler Eifert. A familiar offense if he goes way back in his mind and his books when he was in Cincinnati with Jay Gruden and, of course, Andy Dalton. He was a young player at that time, but came on and obviously had some really good seasons. It's the injury bug for Tyler Eifert that you worry about, but you do like the marriage between Eifert and Jay Gruden mixed in with a team that's kind of trying to learn this offense. At least there's some familiarity, especially in the tight end room where the Jaguars could use a whole lot of help. How much of an impact do you think Eifert makes? I know we have to assume health. So every time you say something about him, well, let's assume health. I mean, let's assume whatever health means. I mean, maybe it's 12 games. Okay, I won't give them all 16. I know that's a little, but I also don't want to assume a guy's going to get hurt. I mean, that's
not the right mentality.
I think that's
to
a
have.
bad way to think. The Jags aren't thinking that way. A lot goes wrong when guys get hurt. If your quarterback goes down, if you lose a big pass rusher, if you lose your running back, you lose your top wideout, things change. I mean, if you lose your left tackle, any team is impacted by that. So what kind of impact can Tyler Eifert have on this team that even if he got hurt, it would severely impact their game planning and production?
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking Tyler Eifert, number one, you're talking about a red zone threat that the Jaguars just didn't have last year. Okay, Josh Oliver goes down with an injury. Jeff Swaim didn't really. I think Jeff Swaim got hurt halfway during the season. You didn't have that big-bodied red zone target. Now, you had Chris Conley, who has like a 47-inch vertical, but you didn't use him in the red zone. Once again, not my call. John DeFilippo's not here anymore, so it is what it is there. You know how I feel about it. I always go on a rant about it. It is what it is. But when you're talking about Tyler Eifert, though, yeah, it's that red zone threat to me, which is the biggest thing, right? Because Gruden in the past, he's used guys like Vernon Davis. He's used guys like Jordan Reed, when he's healthy, obviously. So he is accustomed to having that big-bodied, athletic tight end down the middle that can go up and get the ball. Now, Tyler Eifert can be that guy when he's healthy. But once again, the big question mark, can he stay healthy? Also, and we've kind of heard a couple opinions about it, I think that he's a pretty decent run blocker, okay? And that's going to help out things, too, as well, where if you need a max protection kind of look for Gardner Minshew, he'll be able to do that. If you're trying to pound the rock on that 4th and 1 goal line kind of set, he can help you with that. So, to me, this guy is versatile. He's a red zone threat, obviously a pretty dang good receiver. And when you talk about a second-year quarterback with Gardner Minshew, you need those safety blankets, and I think Tyler Eifert can be that guy.
Yeah, I think so, too. He can be that guy. Let's just briefly go through some of his best years, okay? In 13, he had 39 catches, 445 yards, couple of touchdowns. Obviously, in 15, it was his breakout season. 52 catches, 600 yards. I'm throwing a lot of numbers at you, but 13 touchdowns. You talk about red zone. 13 of his 52 catches, if I do my quick math, that's 1 out of every 4 receptions is a touchdown. 29 catches and 394 yards in only 8 games and 5 scores in 2016. And again, even with his great year of 15, he only played 13 games. Like, he's never played a 16-game season until last year. Played 15 in his rookie season and played 16 last year.
Now, keep in mind, he was used sparingly last year, though, too.
43 catches, 436 yards, and 3 touchdowns. For a Cincinnati team that obviously struggled on a lot of levels anyway during the course of the season. So what kind of projections, if he plays 15, 16 games, can he have? Would you sign up for that? Would you sign up for 43 catches, 400 and something yards? That's 10 yards a pop and somewhere between 3 and 6 touchdowns. Is that enough?
You know what? honestly, I really don't care about the yardage, even the receptions. Gruden's going to spread the ball around. That's what Gruden does. One game, DJ Chark's going to have 10 catches, 150 yards. The next game, D.D. Westbrook's going to get utilized and have 10 catches. Like, Gruden spreads the ball around. So I'm not looking for necessarily so many grabs from Tyler Eifert. All I'm looking for is when you're in, your opponent's 20-yard line and in towards the end zone, I'm looking for that guy that can go up and get the ball.
But see, here, I'm looking for a little more. And this is why I'm looking for a little more. To my non-expert eye, and I think others have followed suit on this, unless they're just listening to me and believe me that much.
That's a mistake.
That should be a really bad idea for them. But I don't think I'm wrong here. If you would give me the one weakness spot of Gardner Minshew last year, and if you said this is his weakness, for not even the fumbles, I won't even say. I'll say this is where he has to be better. Because if he's not better, it's easy to defend him. It's easy to game plan against him. And I would say right between the hashes, man. I would say the hashes and the middle of that field. And I think he didn't utilize that area of the field enough. How much of that was he was concerned to do that? How much of that was a vision thing? Maybe getting acclimated to the NFL thing? Or how much of that was a personnel thing where the Jaguars didn't have these safety blankets where you think a tight end would fit, right?
Yeah.
Is right over that middle. So when you say Tyler Eifert to me, when you give me Josh Oliver if he's healthy, and I understand, again, we're talking healthy guys, but for the sake of this conversation on a Thursday in May, we're going to assume health for these guys. This is what the Jags are planning for. And quite frankly, they have to have guys healthy if they want to do well. They don't have a ton of depth at all these different spots. But when you say Eifert and Oliver in that tight end position, I respect the red zone stuff. I agree. I mean, you need some red zone threats, and I think they'll have that. I hope Colin Johnson, the young man from Texas, brings a little bit of that too with his 6'6" frame. But I think the middle of the field. I think 3rd and 5, middle of the field, and that's not only a first down, but that's a 24-yard play. That's where you pick up chunks of yardage. And then we'll find out if Minshew can hit that play. But you've got to have weapons on that side of the field. I think that is the place where Eifert, because of his veteran experience, Oliver, because of his skill set, can really make a difference from last year to this year in Gardner Minshew's game, meaning the offense's game too.
Well, but when you're talking about the middle of the field, though, like I can make an argument and say, well, D.D. Westbrook should have been that guy last year, okay? Because you really didn't have that tight end presence. If you put a guy in the slot, the guy in the slot's job is to get to the middle of the field and have a mismatch, on the nickel corner. We didn't see that last year, okay? So, like, the middle of the field was really non-existent. Now, was that from Gardner Minshew not seeing the guys get open? Was that from John DeFilippo not really calling the right plays? We were just so accustomed to seeing Gardner Minshew attack the hashes and the sidelines with guys like DJ Chark, with guys like Chris Conley. And guess what? It worked out pretty well. So
he did a good job of it.
He
He's accurate
did a
in
great
that
job
part.
of that. But so I'm not sure exactly how much of a change it's going to offer with Tyler Eifert. Obviously, when you talk about, the middle of the field, I'm worried about the safety blanket, okay? Because if you look at guys like Lamar Jackson, if you look at guys like Patrick Mahomes, if you look at guys, I'm trying to think of some other quarterbacks who've come up, maybe even like Russell Wilson back in the day when he was like going to his second year, even guys like Dak Prescott, when he had Jason Witten. They've all had dependable tight ends, okay? Because at the end of the day, whether it was Lamar Jackson, he had Andrews, he had Hayden Hurst, he had Boyle, he had Max Williams. I mean, the guy had a slew of tight ends. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, he had Travis Kelce. Carson Wentz, going into second year, he had Carson Wentz. He had Zach Ertz. Sorry, yeah. Thank you. So that's one thing they all have in common is that is the safety blanket. When the pocket collapses, when things start to break down a little bit and all of a sudden you kind of go off the seat of your pants, the tight end's supposed to always be there, okay? Either the tight end or the running back. And last year, you didn't have the tight end. So this year, I think Tyler Eifert can be that security blanket. When stuff does start breaking down, sure, go ahead and flip him the ball and see what happens. But once again, I'm going back to the point of I want the red zone target, and if it breaks down, then sure, put Eifert in the mix as well.
Yeah, and again, I don't dismiss the red zone. You have to have more weapons in the red zone. You have to be more dynamic in the red zone. I thought the play calling in the red zone was atrocious last year on so many levels. I can remember those conversations. It sticks out to me. But I also remember the middle of the field being pretty much non-existent for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And, sometimes it could even be like these middle screens, whether that dangerous screenplay, right? Again, the Jags run a screenplay. But I do think in that conversation has been this lack of tight ends. And what we say is lack of tight end production. I don't know how much you have to really put on Minshew. I don't think we've got a full answer on that because most of the time, if it is a weakness, I don't think coaches and the player are going to tell you it's a weakness. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you from an offensive perspective, I thought it was a weakness last year, whoever's fault it was. Mm-hmm. And what, in your opinion, why would a quarterback shy away from the middle? Is it that much more? I mean, is it just obvious? It's a danger zone. There's a lot of stuff that can happen in there.
I mean, yeah, there's a few things, right? Where in the middle of the field, especially when you talk about zone coverage, I mean, there are opportunities for turnovers, a lot more than the sidelines. Anytime you throw a ball to the sideline, that's a pretty safe throw. Yeah. Obviously, if you throw it long. Now, if you throw it short, you have an issue there.
But even if a ball gets tipped, it could go out of bounds. Ball gets tipped in the middle, there's 6 players that could get it.
Yeah, so in terms of risk and reward, those sideline throws are going to pay off a lot more than those middle of the field throws. So that's one reason. Another reason, and I saw this happen with Peyton Manning when Austin Collie got knocked out, is sometimes guys get injured. Sure. You know, like sometimes you lead guys into double coverage. You lead guys when you don't see the linebacker coming across the field, and boom, and all of a sudden that guy's out on his feet, right? And it's your fault because you let him there. Maybe he hangs out on the ball, maybe he doesn't, but that's not the point. Whether he caught the ball or not, it was your fault, and you got him hurt. And that's a tough pill to swallow if you're a quarterback. So you have to mind that as well. So I think in terms of the risk and reward, I think in terms of the injury probability, throws to the outside of the field are always going to be the safer bet.
It's funny. We've talked a lot of stuff on the Jags over 12 years, and a lot that has gone wrong. I don't really remember this conversation as much, though, and at least being as prominent in my own mind about going over the middle. Have you run into it before with past teammates or opposing quarterbacks where you'd actually go into a film study and preparation for a game and be like, hey, this guy, he's a little afraid to go over the middle, or he's not. Does that happen? Not really?
No, not really.
So I'm probably embellishing even Minshew's lack of attacking the middle.
Yeah.
I might be. I don't know. But I think they didn't have tight ends. I mean, they had nothing at that position last year. That is a tight end spot.
If you go back to the AFC Championship game, you watch what Tennessee did against Baltimore. The tough Rubik's Cube that nobody could solve in the Baltimore Ravens. Well, the Tennessee Titans figured it out, and they essentially took the middle of the field away because that's where the Ravens made all their bread, right? Like, you had Hollywood Brown on the outside every once in a while doing those fly routes, but where your bread and butter was made for the Baltimore Ravens in the passing game was in the middle of the field. So the Titans took that away. So that was a game plan. Like, that was a game plan to say, you know what? If we're going to lose to the Baltimore Ravens, we're going to lose on the outside, but they will not beat us in the middle of the field. And guess what? The Titans won. So every once in a blue moon, depending on what kind of offense you face, you could take away, the outsides of fields or the insides. But traditionally, at least when I played, it was never about like taking away a certain area of the field. It was just kind of about manning up and and just trying to stop those game wreckers, if you will.
Where do you think Kansas City's most dangerous? Do you think they attack the middle? Do they attack outside? I mean, I know they got it all over the place, but Kelsey's such a big part of their offense. So again, I think kind of middle. They've got guys that can do numerous things.
Yeah.
So I would think when you get as many explosive plays as Kansas City does, the middle of the field is probably a weapon for them.
No, so it's funny because when I talked to Matt Patricia, saw Matt Patricia at the Senior Bowl, what is it now, 4 or 5 months ago, probably, whatever it was. And I asked him because I remember distinctly during the break watching the Chiefs-Lions game, and I watched how Detroit played Patrick Mahomes. And Detroit, you could arguably say out of the entire NFL season, Detroit played him the best. Now, obviously, Matt Patricia, Bill Belichick guy, defensive-minded guy, I had to pick his brain a little bit. And I went up to him because obviously I played for Andy Reid, so I kind of get Andy Reid's personality a little bit. And I asked Matt Patricia, I'm like, how did you guys stop Patrick Mahomes? How did you probably hold him to his worst game of the entire season? And he said a couple things. Number one, he's like, we didn't blitz Patrick Mahomes, okay? The goal was to make Patrick Mahomes feel comfortable, but not comfortable. And in doing that, when Patrick Mahomes has time, when he actually feels comfortable in the pocket, that's when he makes his mistakes, okay? Because
clock starts going.
Exactly, because if his internal clock gets to 4 or 5 seconds, he starts just kind of moving around a little bit. That's when you have him. Where Patrick Mahomes is dangerous is when he feels pressure, gets on the move a little bit, and gets out of the pocket. That's where Patrick Mahomes makes all his money. So Patricia kind of found a way to kind of, I guess, corral Patrick Mahomes, make him feel comfortable, but obviously drop guys back in coverage where he didn't feel comfortable. So then I asked him, well, what was the game plan in trying to stop all their weapons, right? Because you have Travis Kelce, you have Tyreek Hill, you have Mecole Hardman, you have all these guys, Sammy Watkins, obviously tore the Jaguars apart first game of the season. And he said, listen, you're never going to stop every one of those weapons like the Kansas City Chiefs. And the way Andy Reid works is he always tries to feature one guy. So what we do is we try to find the one guy, and this is very a la Bill Belichick, very a la New England Patriots. You have to find that one guy that you think Andy Reid's going to feature, whether it's Travis Kelce, whether it's Tyreek Hill, or somebody else. And you take that guy completely out of the ballgame, whether it's with a double team, whether it's with dropping the zone to his side, but you have to take away the top weapon, who you think is going to be the top weapon, and then you go from there. So essentially what Matt Patricia was telling me was you don't really focus so much on the pass rush. You focus more on dropping back into coverage, making Patrick Mahomes feel a little overconfident and comfortable, and then focusing on the X factor of that game, who you think it's going to be. The problem, though, and this is what he told me, is they have so many X factors.
Yeah, you got to guess right.
If you take away Travis Kelce, well, guess what? Then Tyreek Hill eventually gets open. But the biggest thing that he said, too, as well, and talking about Matt Patricia, is we were fine with that. We understood that our secondary wasn't necessarily the best secondary in the league. But what we wanted to limit them to doing was taking away the big play. If you can stop the big play of the Kansas City Chiefs and try to make them play a little short ball in the red zone, you have a significant better chance of beating them.
Yeah, I just think going back just one more thing on the middle of the field. If what I think about, I think Peyton Manning, and I think that ball that he threw right over the linebacker's ear to whatever type, whether it was Marcus Pollard or name your tight end, right? I believe tight ends and Gronkowski and everything, that matchup problem for the Brady and the Page. Tight ends become such a big weapon in the game. So I think middle of the field, the Jags have to be able to have that. They've got some bodies in that room. Tyler Eifert has to become that to some degree, whether it's in the red zone or any part of the field. Josh Oliver, you're really hoping he takes off here in year number 2 and he becomes part of this offense. It would just really help things. And then for Jay Gruden, you can use a lot of those guys in different ways once you have somebody that's reliable in the middle of the field. And I think of a guy like Laviska Shenault. I mean, how much more dangerous does Shenault become in all the different ways you can utilize him if you can trust something out of the tight end spot and especially in the middle of the field?
In my opinion, if you're trying to build an elite offense and you're trying to build a very dynamic offense that can score a lot of points, you can attack the middle of the field two ways. You can attack the middle of the field with speed and motion, or you can attack the middle of the field with physicality. When I say physicality, I'm talking about obviously like Rob Gronkowski, right? Like that guy wasn't the burner or fast or anything, but guess what? If you had him one-on-one against a linebacker or safety,
can't cover him.
Good luck with that. You know what I'm saying? But when you talk about a Tyreek Hill, when you talk about a Hollywood Brown, they attack the middle of the field too, but they do it with their speed because you're always going to have the advantage as a slot receiver because why? Those press corners can't line up on you, right? I mean, usually, traditionally, those slot guys, they're smaller, right? So if a press corner like Jalen Ramsey gets his long wingspan on you, you might be screwed then, right? You might get thrown off your route a little bit, and you can't get back on track, and by that time, the ball's already out. But when you can line up in the slot and go in motion things, it opens a lot of things up. So when you talk about a D.D. Westbrook with the motion, when you talk about a Shenault being that physical, squats over like 500-something pounds, which is ridiculous, you have opportunities there. And obviously Tyler Eifert being a bigger specimen himself and kind of athletic still, even though through all the injuries, it opens the realms for a lot of possibilities this year for Jay Gruden and the offense.
And keep in mind, Oliver's a very athletic guy. I mean, that's what he's not there to block. He's there to be that move tight end that can get down the field and be a tough matchup. All right, let's switch to, I wanted to get to Tyson, less Holyfield, but Tyson. Do you think he's going to do something? Will it be charity-based? And I know we talked about earlier, you said, I'd watch. I don't know if I'd pay for it. But take you out of the equation. How many people would? I mean, I think he is one. You talk about all these people watching this documentary, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Everybody's on that Michael Jordan train again, right? Everybody's like, wow, are you living it? I'm telling you what, do 3 weeks of stories on Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Show 3 weeks of highlights leading up to a fight on Mike Tyson. I got to believe everybody would be locked in. He's one of the most fascinating characters sports has ever seen.
Well, listen, you mentioned Michael Jordan, and people are fiending for that. But what you don't remember is the Michael Jordan of the Washington Wizards. Okay? Like that was its own separate entity, and he still had some pretty good, output there, but it almost damaged the prestige, in my opinion. Right? It's to me, it did.
Did it?
Number one, like seeing Michael Jordan besides a Bulls jersey, like that was weird. Number one, but number two, it's like he's not the MVP anymore. You know, like he is, like he's still a great player, but he's not the Michael Jordan of old. You know, and especially in combat sports, Brent, especially in boxing, like listen, people will always have the memories of Mike Tyson knocking everybody out. All right, and being the baddest man on the planet. I asked the question, if you're a Mike Tyson supporter or if you're a Evander Holyfield supporter, what does this do for their careers? Now, this is a selfish question because who cares, right? I mean, they're fighting. Let them do whatever they want to do, right? But I'm talking about the hardcore boxing fans that grew up with Tyson, that grew up with Evander Holyfield even. What does this stuff do for their careers going forward? Like, what becomes of this? Can you turn on this Mike Tyson Evander Holyfield fight and be like, you know what? Like, my respect has gone up tenfold now for these guys. I just feel like you can't do that. I'm reminded of a year ago. You probably know who Chuck Liddell is, right? You know Chuck Liddell.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Chuck Liddell fought Tito Ortiz in Combat Americas, I think it was, or it was some smaller promotion. Chuck Liddell is one of the godfathers of MMA. All right, Mount Rushmore of MMA. Tito Ortiz is one of the baddest dudes in his own right, okay? And this was, I think, the third fight as well. People were excited, man. People couldn't wait. Chuck Liddell's back. Are you kidding me, man? The Mohawk? Come on, like the guy like put UFC kind of on the map, if you will. Well, that fight went on, and you had two guys that were, let's be honest, out of their prime, and it was a depressing showing. Okay, nobody won that fight. The fans didn't win that fight. Tito Ortiz won via KO, but I don't think he really won that fight in his mind. Like, nobody won that fight. So going forward now with this Mike Tyson Evander Holyfield fight, it's just who really wins out of this?
Yeah, it's a good question. It made me think of, I went back to Muhammad Ali and tried to look at his last few fights. And there's greatness with Muhammad Ali outside of the ring, too, that maybe this isn't the same, but actually in some respects it is. I mean, Mike Tyson has this legendary status. Like, I don't think Michael Jordan's Wizard days really take a shine off anything, especially now. They're not going to bring it up, and I think you hardly remember it. I actually don't think Peyton Manning's last year, even though he was really not good and got carried to the Super Bowl, but the fact that they won the Super Bowl, it doesn't get, oh, man, Peyton Manning, he looked like he was 80 years old, which he did. He looked like a bad quarterback.
It was bad, yeah.
If Tom Brady goes out at 43 years old and really isn't good, turns in a Phillip Rivers kind of year from last year, even though he's got a good football team around him, it will be remembered to a degree, but it will be such a footnote.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. And Tyson's different in this respect. By the way, Muhammad Ali lost his 3 out of his last 4 fights. Mm-hmm. And that's not like atypical even of some of the big boxers. That just means he was toward the end. He lost to Leon Spinks, which, by the way, in 15. They used to do the 15-rounders. Mm-hmm. Beat Spinks and then lost to Larry Holmes TKO. And then the last one was an 81 against Trevor Berbick and lost. But the last 2 were kind of like, kind of like Willie Mays' final, final ride. But here's the thing about Tyson, I think that might make it different. While all those guys I just mentioned maybe hung on a little too long, there's a feeling with Tyson that we all got cheated out of some of his best years, out of what he could have been long term. He had more left because of just this crazy persona that included biting off Evander Holyfield's ear, these problems with the law that resulted in prison, and this perception, at the very least, and maybe some of it was reality, that he had just lost it. I mean, he already was a little bit crazy and had just lost it. Mm-hmm. So I think the sports fan almost feels like, man, could have got a couple more years out of that Mike that I saw just knocking people out. He was young enough still at that time to get those, but he almost cheated himself and in turn cheated everybody else. That's why I wonder if he'd be more welcome back. And no, by the way, he looks freaking amazing in the videos they keep pushing out.
Both of them do. Evander Holyfield looks really good too. I mean, you're right, but I don't know, man. Like, listen, because I hate doing this. I hate saying that he shouldn't fight because he's a fighter, man. It's Mike Tyson. I'm not going to tell Mike Tyson anything.
Yeah, I certainly won't.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So Mike Tyson can do whatever he wants. And if this is for charity, how can you knock it? You know, how can you hate on that, man? It's going for a good cause. So I just know the damage that one could take in a boxing match, right? And I said all the time, you think UFC's barbaric? Try getting punched 100 times in a boxing match and talk to me. And talk to me how you feel the next day. And then try being 50 years old or 50 plus and then talk to me the next day and see how you feel about it. Okay? So with that being said, I mean, did we miss something with Mike Tyson? Absolutely. But you have to accept the fact that regardless of how he looks hitting mitts, and he looks sensational, man. The guy looks like he's still got it. Don't get me wrong. But it's not the Mike Tyson of old. Okay? So even if Mike Tyson comes out, knocks out Evander Holyfield in 2 minutes, fantastic. I mean, that's great. But it's not going to be like, oh, that's what we've been missing. Like that. Like, is that going to fill the void that you lost with Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
I have a hard time to say it is.
You know what's interesting about Tyson? Tyson, in a lot of ways, to me, reminds me of John Daly.
Okay.
That's a weird comparison, right?
A little bit.
But it also shows you how sick we are of a society, in a sense. We like to see this stuff. It looks like we're watching a real-life fictional movie.
Yeah.
We're like, are you really crazy enough to do that, to act like that, to go through these ups and downs in your life? Like, I get to watch you do that?
Yeah.
Like, thank you. Thanks for the entertainment. It's almost weird, right? And then we feel bad and all those kind of things. But those are two examples that we love those guys in this weird way because they are willing to kind of put it out there and do things that we really wouldn't be willing to do, but we get to watch.
No, for sure. And when we talk about watching it, I guess if you're a boxing fan, if you're an MMA fan, you're a selfish person, right? And when I say I'm selfish, I mean I have this preconceived notion of who Mike Tyson is, the baddest man on the planet, and I don't want to see him fight somebody else and kind of lose that stigma a little bit. Not saying that's how it is, but that's me being selfish. That's me being a selfish combat sports fan.
But imagine if he knocked somebody into the first row. How cool would that be?
Yeah.
Here for it. All right, we come back on ESPN 690. We continue to celebrate Jacksonville Armada Day. Sue Weber joins us next, ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Breezy under partly sunny skies today with an isolated brief shower. Highs in the low 80s, dropping into the low to mid 60s tonight. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jacks from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
Weather is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Did you have to postpone popping the question because of the COVID crisis? Get 5 years, 0 interest now at Beards Diamonds.
Over the last weeks, we found out exactly what we can and cannot live without. We were told what is essential and non-essential. But here's what we learned. Even though some of us were 6 feet apart, others have never been closer. We've come to appreciate love and our relationships more than ever. At Diamonds Direct, we are now open for business again, ready to get back to our mission. We're so proud to be a part of this community, and we're honored to help you celebrate with the ultimate symbol of love. We have taken every precaution to ensure our stores are clean and safe, and our associates are excited to see you in our showroom. But we are now also offering remote and virtual appointments using the latest technology, along with curbside pickups and overnight delivery, so you have every possible option. All this, of course, on top of the guaranteed best values that you expect from Diamonds Direct. So if you've discovered that someone you can't live without, please visit us. Let us help you find that piece of jewelry that will have a story like no other. And remember, no matter what, Diamonds Direct will always be here, because love is essential. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Off Town Center Parkway.
These days, the whole world is on the internet 24/7, on their phones, at work, even at the dinner table. It's the internet all the time. So why, when it's time to sell your home, does your traditional agent charge you 6% to list it on the MLS to other agents instead of targeting buyers directly online? That's why Rex was born. For a fee starting at 2%, Rex sells your home where buyers are looking, online, optimized by data-driven marketing, not the MLS. To get started, visit sellwithrex.com. That's sellwithrex.com. With Rex, selling or buying a home has never been easier. Price your home, get a virtual consultation, visit online open houses and showings, all from the comfort of your home with a few clicks of a button. Want to learn more? Visit sellwithrex.com or just use your phone and call 833-REX-HOME. 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. License number CQ 1057788. Minimum fee may apply. Rex fully supports the principles of the Fair Housing Act and Equal Opportunity Act.
Hi
everyone, I'm Kim, Client Relations Manager here at Reliant. Reliant has always been focused on the customer experience. Reliant has been a leader in the industry when it comes to using technology to connect with our clients whenever needed. So while everything around us continues to change and other contractors are scrambling to adapt to the new normal, Reliant remains steadfast, ready to serve our clients. Our client coordinators are available to discuss your roofing, solar, and hurricane shutter projects, so give us a call today.
Out of sight, out of mind still holds true. When things disappear from your day-to-day life, you think about them less and less. This includes your business. Yes, things are difficult, but if your customers aren't thinking about you now, how can you be sure they will be when this is past? At Cox Media Group Jacksonville, we make sure they will. We'll help you stay on the mind of your customers and even get into the mind of some new customers. Contact CMG Jacksonville at 245-8732 or email buildjax@cmg.com and let's build Jax.
Sometimes it's a battle. Oh, those allergies in the Southeast. Hey, everyone, this is Brent Martineau. I've got those allergies. I know all about them. It seems like we are always in allergy season. Right now, Bold City Heating and Air is offering air conditioning system sanitizing with pricing starting at $125. Sanitize your air conditioning system, and that will ease up allergens getting into your home through your AC system. And as much time as we're all spending working from home lately, it is time to get your AC system sanitized. Contact Bold City Heating and Air today to get more information on their air conditioning sanitizing special. Visit boldcityac.com. And if you need a new AC unit, Bold City has 0% financing options and rebates as well. 0% financing for 12 months, 9.9% for up to 96 months. Do what my family did. See my friends at Bold City Heating and Air to make things more comfortable in your home. Just visit boldcityac.com. One of the best ways to take care of your family is having clean, purified water. Trust me, I know, thanks to Connecticut. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. With a Connecticut system from CGC Water, you can remove up to 99% of contaminants. The team at CGC is taking extra precautions with in-home visits, offering no-contact sales and service appointments. And CGC has extended their current promotion. Buy a Connecticut Premier Softener and save 50% on a K5 reverse osmosis drinking water system. Connecticut Premier Softeners are non-electric and have twin tanks, making them super efficient, and they use less salt. And remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. They will test your tap water so you can better understand what is in your water, and you'll be able to make more informed decisions about what you and your family are drinking. It's free, and there are no obligations to buy anything. Financing is available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeastern Georgia, CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Over the last weeks, we found out exactly what we can and cannot live without. We were told what is essential and non-essential. But here's what we learned. Even though some of us were 6 feet apart, others have never been closer. We've come to appreciate love and our relationships more than ever. At Diamonds Direct, we are now open for business again, ready to get back to our mission. We're so proud to be a part of this community, and we're honored to help you celebrate with the ultimate symbol of love. We have taken every precaution to ensure our stores are clean and safe, and our associates are excited to see you in our showroom. But we are now also offering remote and virtual appointments using the latest technology, along with curbside pickups and overnight delivery, so you have every possible option. All this, of course, on top of the guaranteed best values that you expect from Diamonds Direct. So if you've discovered that someone you can't live without, please visit us. Let us help you find that piece of jewelry that will have a story like no other. And remember, no matter what, Diamonds Direct will always be here, because love is essential. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Off Town Center Parkway.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small. But businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you. Dotson Brothers Stucco and Painting, Flexicare Childcare, Crossview Mortgage, Bates Custom Creations, Joe Power Screen Repair, Terry's Country Store. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
Hi, I'm Nathan from Gordon Chevy in Orange Park. We're all about saving you money, especially right now, where we all need great deals to put smiles on our faces. So check out a hot new Silverado and save up to $9,500, or a new Equinox crossover and save up to $6,500. Plus, you can delay the first payment for up to 4 months. Check out the deals at GordonChevy.com, arrange for home delivery, curbside pickup, or visit us in our freshly cleaned showroom. We are here to accommodate. Gordon Chevy and the money-saving end of Blanding in Orange Park. Chevy, find new roads.
If you're usually listening to ESPN 690 in your car, but your boss has you working from home this week, well, take us with you. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax. Tell Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690, and enjoy all that sweet listening coverage.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
As far as the install packages, I've just been mostly on paper and on the iPads. I just go to the field to run. There's a nice park here close that it's easy to get to. So being able to just stay in shape and running and cutting and doing those types of things. Hello?
Hi, your dog was in my yard.
Oh my God. Hang on one second. My dogs got out of the yard and they're down the street. I'll be right back. All right. Yeah, they're back. And I got a little conditioning in too.
That's Tyler Eifert during the call with the media today. These Zoom calls are real life, man.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta go take care of the dog.
Yeah.
I bet there will be some great outtakes from the Zoom calls. There probably already are. I just haven't found them. But maybe you forget to do some things. Maybe you put your shirt on backwards. Maybe the hair you forgot to comb. Maybe whatever it might be.
My favorite one of all time, I think that was more of a Skype thing because this happened probably 5 or 6 years ago now. You remember Brian Wilson?
Oh, yeah,
From the picture?
San Francisco.
Yeah. Do you know the Brian Wilson machine story or not?
I don't think so.
So Brian Wilson was doing an interview live with like a San Francisco-based TV station, right? So they're doing a live interview. He's Skyping and everything like that. And all of a sudden in the background, you see a guy rocking just like a thong, like a black thong, and then like an executioner's mask, and then like a belt around like his chest or whatever. And like, the news anchor's like, Brian, what's going on there? He's like, oh, that guy? That guy's just a machine. He was coming with a bar of sugar. And like, so he played off like nothing was going on, man. It was epic. So whenever you get a chance, check out Brian Wilson. The machine should be on there.
I'll have to do it. Speaking of machines, we welcome in Action Sports Jack Stuart Weber right now to ESPN 690. Former, maybe still current or sometime down the road, voice of the Jacksonville Armada on the radio side. What's up, man?
In what way does that segue work? That I'm a machine. I don't understand where that segue came from, but I'll take it. How's it going? I'm doing good.
Hey, I think you'd want to be a machine, editing machine, producing machine, working remotely machine.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're just going machine-like.
It sounds like the machine wants to be turned off right now.
I would say machine-like is very complimentary.
It's not.
In sports.
In sports, okay.
Okay,
by the way,
we'll go with it.
Buddy just said Pat Burrell was in the background. Burrell?
Yeah.
That's who it was?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
former Philly?
Yep, exactly.
Well, so he was in San Francisco at that time? He must have
been.
been. Yeah, he was for a short time. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Yeah. Okay, I got it now. I'm putting it all together. Yeah. Weber, I don't think I've seen you like in person since the draft.
Yeah, and before that, another month probably.
This is outstanding. I mean, we spent enough time together in the football season.
Is it kind of refreshing for you, bro? Is that what you're saying?
I think for the sports, I think some people do miss that, right? That in the office and walking down the halls, and I get it. But I think really for our sports department, we do spend a lot of time together.
Okay.
From like August to whenever, March.
Yeah.
I don't miss these guys at all.
Cool.
I mean, I was going to say I miss everybody, but yeah, we can go the opposite way with that too.
Hey, don't put me in the category, man. I miss you. I haven't seen you in forever either. Come on,
I mean, I don't miss Coos, but I do miss you, Austin.
Yeah. Well, I got to deal with them every single day, so it is what it is.
Just keeping it real. Hey, we're celebrating the Jacksonville Armada. You know a lot about the Armada. You called a bunch of their matches, but they've been on pause even before the pandemic, so to speak. How much do you think that core of the Armada fan base, that Section 904, is still kind of, I don't know about thirsting is the right word. I don't want to over-dramatize it, but kind of can't wait until whatever is settled gets settled, and so they can go to matches again and root for this Jacksonville Armada franchise?
Yeah, I think thirsting might be the right word for it, to be honest with you. And, a couple months ago when they had their anniversary party, they did a little celebration for the fact that, however many years it was that the Armada has existed, Section 904 all got together, and I was able to drop by there for a little bit. They got together at a local brewery, and, you know, there's a solid 30 to 50 people, this core group that, you know, is very much still there. They love the game of soccer, and they love supporting this team through thick and thin. And certainly Section 904 is going to be there whenever this team comes back. And then from there, you have to build out. And that's the thing. I mean, the longer this goes on, the more it's going to be, hey, whenever this gets restarted, we're going to start with that 30 to 50 extreme fan group, that's really hardcore group that's in it, you know, in the long run, and then build out with all the casuals and try and, you know, support more people to that cause. So, yeah, it's certainly a work in progress. And to kind of answer your question from earlier, yes, I did call the radio broadcast for the first, I want to say 3 years when it was in the NASL. And I was actually going to call the games again this year. So I'm a little bummed that the NPSL season got wiped out, because that would have been a lot of fun to be able to be on the microphone again and call those games.
Stuart, when you talk about soccer, you talk about the fan bases, right? And now that the Armada haven't played in a couple years, I mean, is this only going to, I guess, increase the fan base, if you will? Because I want you to follow me along here quick. Because keep in mind, I mean, there hasn't been soccer around Jacksonville for a while. So, like, are people craving that, or will their fan base be hurting now because they haven't had season by season by season? There has been that delay, so maybe the fan base drops down a little bit.
I think it's the latter. I think it drops down a little bit, and it's going to be the job of the team. And Nathan Walter, I know, is going to have a great plan for it as far as building that back up, because to say people are thirsting for it, I mean, people are thirsting for all sports right now, and that's the real shame in this whole thing, is that when we start to get sports back again, we're still going to be waiting for this soccer team and for the Armada to be able to take the field again. And you're not going to be able to capitalize on that, you know, desire, that hunger for sports. So it certainly will be an effort, and it's going to be a lot about promotion, a lot about bringing in the different youth groups. And I think that's largely one of the things that motivated the move recently to no longer be affiliated with the Youth Academy, in order to branch out and bring in the Clay County Soccer Academy, bring in the Florida Elites, bring in what is now Jacksonville FC, and to be able to get all those different youth organizations to come support the team.
Yeah, it's a sensible move on a lot of different levels. Stuart Weber with us on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. We're celebrating the Jacksonville Armada, celebrating local sports here, as we've done over the last couple of months, and will continue to do with these special days for some of the franchises. And today it's the Armada. The patience that they have here is really, I think, something you have to commend, because they're trying to do it the right way. The stadium will make a big difference. Everything Nathan Walter said about that makes a lot of sense. And then they can find a home in terms of a league. I think the easy thing here would have been to just fold the tent and say, we're out, right?
And so many teams have done that in the volatility that is lower league soccer in the United States. And that's really been a big problem, is that you'll get these teams with this instability, and they'll come around for 2, maybe 3 years, and then poof, they're gone, and you don't know where they went. But it's important to have the long-term plans, the stability, and the ability to stick. And yes, I think a stadium is going to play a huge role in that. But even more so than that is getting it right when it comes to what league you're going to choose and what league you're going to join. And I know the fans are going to support the team no matter what league they play in. But let's be honest, they need to make the right decision here and get into the correct league, because it didn't work when they joined the NASL. And there were options at the time. Do you join the NASL? Do you join the USL? And so they joined the NASL, and the NASL folded. So you can't make that mistake twice and choose the wrong league when you're finding out where you're going to play your games.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think that stadium, and we've talked to Nathan Walter about the stadium. I remember having him on, I want to say last summer, talking about the stadium, and there was a lot of excitement and hope for that. How much do you think that's needed in Jacksonville? Not just for the Armada's survival and sustainability, but from, we're in a world, and we live this with our kids, but the travel ball and events, and it's a huge moneymaker for cities, for wherever you are, whether you're in Newberry out near Gainesville, or if you're down in Sanford. They've got these huge complexes, but it brings people to stay in hotels. It brings people to buy dinner and all that stuff. Really is an economic boom. How much do you think this stadium is needed in Jacksonville from in terms of how much the place will fit, how much you could bring some higher level and even youth level events, and therefore create maybe some dollars here in the city?
Yeah, it's a tough question to answer, obviously, but I think the real challenge there is that in building this stadium, you're giving yourself this centerpiece, this main event, so to speak, a big stadium, a big place in downtown Jacksonville, and that's a huge draw, obviously, is that you want to have stuff downtown, even though our downtown clearly needs work in the city of Jacksonville, and obviously city leaders are working on that. But the problem with what you're saying is that all the big fields, all the other fields, the open area, that's still at Patton Park, off of Hodges and Beach in that area. So in order to host some of these big, giant events, which is what the now Jacksonville FC will continue to do moving forward, it's going to be a challenge. Now, do you get that partnership with the Armada and Jacksonville FC again moving forward, or even with Florida Elite down in St. Johns County, as far as being able to, hey, you host these huge tournaments at your fields, but then have your championship games right here at the stadium, the crown jewel of soccer in Jacksonville, where the fans can come and you can really enjoy it. I mean, that's the way you want that to go, simply because that, you're not going to have the space to have all these practice fields. And heck, even once they build that stadium, depending on whether they go grass or artificial, I'd imagine they'd go grass, because God help me if they didn't. Where are you going to practice at? You going to practice on that grass field that you want to play on, or are you going to find a place to build another one? Because you're talking space limitations when you build a stadium downtown.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and that's a good clarification, too. It's not really a complex, but you could have, like, the championship games, or you could even entertain the idea of maybe the high school state championships in the state of Florida or something like that. Now, there's a lot of competition for stuff like that. Where are those right now? Where's the soccer? Is that in Sarasota?
Where was it last year? Lakeland, Vero, somewhere down in the middle of the state is where they had it. Yeah, the past couple of years. Now, the one thing, too, I mean, I think it would be a great venue to be able to host state championships for soccer. But you can also talk about hosting state championships for football. I mean, you look at what they've done with the small classifications last year. You held them in Tallahassee. I mean, and that's a small stadium, and it's out in the Panhandle. Jacksonville would make a lot more sense to be able to host. You don't have a venue for it right now that makes sense in size. And if you have a 5,000-seater, I mean, that's the perfect venue to host high school state championships.
And make it feel big.
Lower class football.
Yeah, that's true. So. But Stuart, in terms of, artificial turf or grass, though, I mean, wouldn't you think artificial turf would make a lot more sense if you're going to host in these football games, maybe like some lacrosse games, things like that, as opposed to grass where the field can get chewed up? And when you talk about grass and artificial turf, like, how many professional soccer teams have artificial grass compared to, just grass in general?
Too many.
Okay.
The game plays differently on the fake stuff. On the artificial turf, you can't wet it like you do a real grass pitch, It's a different feel, a different type of game. As much as they want to try and perfect these fields and use this artificial turf, because, like you said, I mean, durability, it makes a whole lot more sense to do that. But the game of soccer is meant to be played on real grass, and we live in Florida, for Pete's sake. We don't need artificial turf down here. That's my personal opinion and the opinion of many soccer purist players as well.
Yeah, well, and that is true from a purist point of view, from a maintenance point of view. That's why a lot of people have gone with the turf, especially if you're going to put a lot of things on that and a lot of events. Just depends how much play. But you're going to build a place downtown, you want some play. You don't want just 15 matches on it. You don't want 15 events there. You need events. So you want to have people occupying that building. If it's RP funding that's funding it, or most of it, well, they want to draw some more money in by attracting other events and people being able to pay to play on it. So and
I think part of the original plan from RP funding, if I'm recalling correctly, and I thought it was a great part of the plan, was the fact that the new RP funding business offices would be part of that stadium structure, and that's a huge important thing to do. And a very big part of it is that you're using this facility for your offices as well as a stadium facility. And it makes me think of one of the historic stadiums up in Charleston, South Carolina. They've had a lower division soccer team for 20, 30 years now, the Charleston Battery, and they have been this model of success when it comes to a team that has persevered through the anarchy that is lower league soccer because they've had their own stadium. It was one of the first soccer-specific stadiums in the country, if I recall correctly, in the early to mid-'90s. And the cool thing was it had a pub in it, and it had like a soccer museum in it with all the stuff that was in there. So, like, you were able to use it for this other stuff even when the games weren't going on.
Yeah, and I think that still is the plan for Robert Palmer, by the way, to do that and make it a multifunctional building, and structure to do. Hey, Stuart Weber's our soccer expert and NASCAR expert. We kind of just leave it to him.
Oh yeah, I don't touch him, man.
Yeah, we hardly touch it.
Just set and forget.
I'm the one guy in that Venn diagram of life, is what I like to say.
Yeah, you probably are. But
I'm the dot that connects those two circles.
And we appreciate that. And especially right now, because just a quick note or two, NASCAR is getting fired up again here this weekend for a lot of racing over the next couple of weeks. What's the latest? You looking forward to it? Will it work? Do you like the precautions they've put in place? Just some overall thoughts on NASCAR getting rolling here this weekend.
Yeah, and today they released even further more of the schedule all the way through late June. So they've started to roll out all these races across the Southeast. And yeah, I mean, it's an exciting thing for fans and for sports fans who are craving that stuff. So hopefully NASCAR can capitalize on it. And I was listening to an interview on the Dale Jr. Download earlier today about just how important it was for NASCAR to get this thing going quickly, because they're able to connect with Fox and NBC and secure those prime broadcast spots, not only now, but especially in the fall, when that calendar is going to be so crowded, and it's going to be insane trying to figure out what's on when and, watch all the sports that you want to watch. But yeah, so NASCAR gets it started this Sunday up at Darlington. I got to go to that race last year. The race at Darlington, a great old track, and it's going to be pretty wild because they're doing a one-day race type of idea. No practice, no qualifying. They're actually doing the qualifying draw tonight, which is interesting. But the first live lap that racers are going to take once they get to the track is going to be lap one of the race, which is already insane. But how about this? You consider it for a guy like Matt Kenseth, who's now going to be driving the number 42 car, formerly ridden by Kyle Larson. His first lap in like 2 years in NASCAR is going to be a live lap at Darlington, the track too tough to tame, and he's going to take it into turn one at full speed without any testing or practice or qualifying.
Now, that is fascinating, that part of it. One last thing. We got a minute to go before we got to get out of here. Will NASCAR, this kind of makes sense, right? Them coming back. I mean, golf is coming back soon. You can be socially distant. UFC comes back. They have like 75 camps over 3 of these fight cards here in 8 days in Jacksonville. That's not an enormous amount of people. You can do NASCAR. There's one guy in the car. Obviously, they have their pit teams, but they can pull this off, right, without too much in terms of the new norm getting impacted.
Yeah, and honestly, I kind of feel like this could have been something that they would have been able to do throughout this entire crisis, but you never planned for it, right?
Yeah.
You don't know that it's coming. You can't put those safeguards in place and come up with that plan right on the spot, because it is a socially distant thing. I mean, the entire crew is in a full bodysuit and with a mask on. I mean, they already have that. That's how it is. It's just a matter of social distancing within the garages and not having that interaction with other people. So it's interesting because they're not going to do like the COVID testing that, say, UFC has done. They're just going to have everybody show up, everybody stay apart, do the race, and then go home and, use up minimal resources, not take up people's time that should be focused on other stuff, with the exception probably in an ambulance or two that's probably going to have to be at the track. So I think it makes perfect sense for NASCAR to be one of those sports that's able to get out there and do that. Now, soccer, when we're talking about the Armada, I mean, the Bundesliga in Germany is getting started again this weekend, and it's doing it with no fans, just hoping, praying that, none of these players come down with it and spread it to all the other players. But soccer, it's a lot more difficult to be able to control that.
Absolutely. The team sports, from the understanding around the country here in the United States, there's a lot of eyes on that starting up this weekend to see how that goes, because that's the first team sport that's kind of getting back at it, so it'll be really interesting, and we'll see what happens with NASCAR this weekend. Stuart Weber, good to talk to you, man. Maybe we'll see you down the road sometime, at least probably by the fall.
Yeah, I'll pop into the studio at some point, and maybe my card will work still. I don't know. We'll see.
Mine
Austin's
doesn't. So, yeah.
I have to let him in every day.
Take it for how you want it,
And
man.
you know what? Hopefully, he doesn't need much show prep because I let him in at like 3:01.
You know I don't.
Thanks for jumping on, man. Appreciate it.
You got it, guys.
That's Stuart Weber. Follow him at Stuart A.S. Jacks. He knows that soccer stuff and NASCAR. He's a big fan. I like it. Our expert on it. NASCAR gets rolling this weekend. I wonder if, listen, they spent a lot of money in NASCAR to pull all that off. I wonder if squeezing it down to the way they're doing it might make more sense long term. We'll see how it goes this weekend.
Is there anything better than the track that's too tough to tame?
That's pretty good, right?
Oh, man.
They do have some great names at some of the tracks.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back on ESPN 690. Fox is going to try something with no fans if the NFL doesn't allow them. Do you like it or not? Next on ESPN 690.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Smart speakers are becoming part of everyday life, so why not use it to listen to the radio? Tell Alexa, Google Home, or any other speaker to play ESPN 690. Give it a shot weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
If the COVID crisis postponed your proposal or spending too much time in quarantine put you in the doghouse, show her how much you love her with a beautiful piece of jewelry from Beard's Diamonds.
Right now, get 5 years zero-interest financing on anything and everything.
Yes, 5 years, zero interest financing with no money down.
Before you pop the question, ask Beards first. Right now, you can choose from thousands of diamonds at the absolute lowest prices in North Florida.
5 years, zero interest financing for the entire month.
All diamond engagement rings, from solitaires to halos, from 3-stone to side stone.
Shop the largest showroom in North Florida with plenty of room to social distance and take advantage of the rock bottom prices Beards is known for.
Get 5 years zero-interest financing on anything and everything.
Only at Beard's Diamonds. Locally owned at the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
See the difference. Save thousands.
Over the last weeks, we found out exactly what we can and cannot live without. We were told what is essential and non-essential. But here's what we learned. Even though some of us were 6 feet apart, others have never been closer. We've come to appreciate love and our relationships more than ever. At Diamonds Direct, we are now open for business again, ready to get back to our mission. We're so proud to be a part of this community, and we're honored to help you celebrate with the ultimate symbol of love. We have taken every precaution to ensure our stores are clean and safe, and our associates are excited to see you in our showroom. But we are now also offering remote and virtual appointments using the latest technology, along with curbside pickups and overnight delivery, so you have every possible option. All this, of course, on top of the guaranteed best values that you expect from Diamonds Direct. So if you've discovered that someone you can't live without, please visit us. Let us help you find that piece of jewelry that will have a story like no other. And remember, no matter what, Diamonds Direct will always be here, because love is essential. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Off Town Center Parkway.
Do you hear something in the attic?
Where do you want to eat tonight?
Why won't the lights work?
Where should I take my car for engine work?
Do you think I need to get this spot checked out?
Where did these bugs come from?
When are we going to paint the house?
These and hundreds of other questions are still being asked daily. Will the answer be your business or your competitors? Don't leave it to chance. Let Cox Media Group Jacksonville make you the answer to their questions. Contact us at 245-8732 or email buildjacks@cmg.com and let's build Jacks.
One-to-One Financial is Jacksonville's hometown credit union, and we've been helping people improve their lives and start businesses in this community for more than 85 years, longer than any other local institution. Like our name says, we work one-to-one with everyone, no matter their background, and we offer the best rates on loans and savings accounts, free debt counseling, plus no-cost financial planning. Learn more and join us at one-to-one-fcu.org, federally insured by NCUA.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small, but businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you. Biscotti's Avondale, BB San Marco, Beaches Concrete, Ag Pro Pest Control, A&G Outdoors, Units of Jacksonville. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
Hello? Hey, boss. Why are you calling me?
Well, I was gonna come over, but I thought I should be practicing social distancing.
Oh, that's responsible of you.
Thanks.
So I'm calling because I want to read you this new article in the Crooks of Us newsletter. If it's about Safe Touch security, I don't want to hear it. Boss, you'll want to hear this. The headline reads, Safer at Home with Safe Touch Security. Safer at home with Safe Touch? Yeah. It says, with people staying home more than ever these days, Safe Touch Security is the answer for peace of mind at home. Yeah, the guaranteed response time, the two-way communicator, the video monitoring. Yeah, and more. Great. So what you're telling me is, whether they're home or not, the Crooks of Us motto is stronger than ever. Stay away from Safe Touch houses. It's written in stone, boss.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Over the last weeks, we found out exactly what we can and cannot live without. We were told what is essential and non-essential. But here's what we learned. Even though some of us were 6 feet apart, others have never been closer. We've come to appreciate love and our relationships more than ever. At Diamonds Direct, we are now open for business again, ready to get back to our mission. We're so proud to be a part of this community, and we're honored to help you celebrate with the ultimate symbol of love. We have taken every precaution to ensure our stores are clean and safe, and our associates are excited to see you in our showroom. But we are now also offering remote and virtual appointments using the latest technology, along with curbside pickups and overnight delivery, so you have every possible option. All this, of course, on top of the guaranteed best values that you expect from Diamonds Direct. So if you've discovered that someone you can't live without, please visit us. Let us help you find that piece of jewelry that will have a story like no other. And remember, no matter what, Diamonds Direct will always be here, because love is essential. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Off Town Center Parkway.
At AutoZone, we've always been here to help you get what you need to go where you need. That hasn't changed. In need of an oil change? Right now you can get 5 quarts of Castrol GTX high mileage motor oil and an STP oil filter for just $27.99. And if you need something fast, you can get it fast, your way. Whether it's next day delivery or free same day pickup, in store or curbside, the choice is yours. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Restrictions and details on AutoZone.com.
It's time for some straight talk. Even though most live sports are on hold now, big wireless companies haven't stopped playing games. They're always trying to lock you into overpriced contracts. With Straight Talk Wireless, there are no contracts. It runs on America's best network, same as the big carriers, but you save up to 50%. $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G. You might miss sports, but don't play games, you'll lose. Straight Talk Wireless. No contracts, no compromise.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I've talked to him a couple times on the phone. He seems like an awesome dude. He's taking charge already. You know, we're doing some group stuff and trying to learn the offense. But I haven't watched a lot of tape on him. But obviously, I saw last year with the mania going on. He seems like a guy that the offense wants to rally behind. You know, he seems like he's a kind of a fearless leader. You know, you need that when you're on the field and the bullets are flying and things aren't going your way. You need that kind of guy that's going to take charge of the huddle and be like, we got this.
That is new Jags tight end Tyler Eifert comes over from Cincinnati talking about quarterback Gardner Minshew. And it's interesting. They've had conversations, all the Zoom stuff. But for guys like Eifert and Minshew and all these rookies, really hard to get to know you, really hard to start getting the chemistry going. It's going to be potentially a lot like what Stuart was just saying with NASCAR. Hop in the car and go. Yeah. And it might be like that in football. There'll be conversations, but in terms of getting on that field, you'll have whatever training camp you have, and that's it. It'll be a lot less. And whether that matters or not, I still don't know. But we do know this. Players are creatures of habit, and that's different. And so their clock will be different. Will that make players uncomfortable? will be an interesting study to see what happens.
Listen, when you have the youngest team in the NFL, it's going to matter, okay? Depending how long this goes on. I mean, listen, the longer that the whole COVID-19 drags out where, players can't go back to the stadium, players can't practice, the longer that drags out, the more it hurts the Jacksonville Jaguars. Because the only way, especially if you're a rookie, a second-year guy, the only way to acclimate yourself to the regular season is to play football, okay? Like, yeah, it's great to have the Zoom meetings and everything, and it's great to get the mental part of it, the X's and O's, if you will, but there's no substitution for actually being on the field and going, either through like a walkthrough pace or obviously going live. There's no substitution for that.
Yeah, it is interesting how that will impact football teams. And you're right, they are a young football team. How will that impact chemistry, fluidity, knowledge of the offense, knowledge of the defense? People are different kind of learners. You got to remember, some people will really like this stuff.
Sure.
This is, being able to see it that way. But other people, you have to go out there and illustrate it to them in all walks of life, not just in football. And so it will factor into some of at least the uncomfortability, I think, early on for some players.
I mean, am I wrong to think right now, like teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, Baltimore Ravens, 49ers are a little bit of an exception, but like the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Titans, teams that didn't really lose anybody, teams that kind of know how to go about things already, teams that have their starting quarterbacks obviously ingrained in the system already. Am I wrong to think that those teams have a far, far greater advantage right now than any other team in the NFL?
I would think they do. But sports are funny, and I think there is this chance of, and I want to keep this open in my mind at least, and I don't know if it makes a lot of sense. I don't think it's as logical as you're kind of saying. Mm-hmm. But I think there is this chance, and I've always thought that OTAs and all this other stuff is just overdone. Do we need it? Does it have to happen? Does it really change how you would play? What if how much would it say if the Jaguars were to come out and play pretty decent football and be on the same page in the first month of the year and get a couple of wins, and their offense under new offensive coordinator Jay Gruden with all these new parts, and this defense with a new philosophy and new players and pretty much a remake, play pretty well. And I don't know what the categorization of well is, but win a couple of games. Wouldn't it throw all that crap out the window? Like, wouldn't it make you wonder, do we need this stuff? Do we need months and months of OTAs? Do we need mini camps? Do we need rookie mini camps? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it make it? Now, they've extended this virtual window, so you're getting at least some of that tutelage. I'm not discounting that. But I think it would really, I could see myself sitting here in mid-October. If they're playing football games and the Jags are 2-2 and looking pretty decent, I would bring that up and be like, did we really need all that for the last however many years, the way they've done it?
Listen, if you look at the youngest teams right now, Brent, I see where you're coming from when you're saying, do they need the OTAs, things like that. But you do need it for the young guys, okay? Because the jump from college football to the pros, and I don't care if you're an SEC guy, if you're a Big Ten guy, or if you're a Murray State OVC guy, or if you're a D3 school guy, okay? Doesn't matter. Like, the jump from the college game to the pro game, it's drastic, okay? And it takes time to develop, that mindset to get ready for a regular season. Now, yeah, some guys got it easier than others, but everyone's got to make that jump, okay? And we talk about, young teams, if you should be nervous or not. Last year, youngest team in the NFL, Miami Dolphins. Second youngest, the Bucks. Third youngest was the Browns. One could say those teams all kind of, struggled last year, to say the least. Now, keep in mind, if you have a struggling team, that means the turnover is going to be there, so you're going to have younger guys in the draft and whatnot. But still, I mean, it is telling from the fact that the longer this drags on and the longer those guys aren't in the field, getting acclimated to what life is like in the NFL, the longer I think the Jaguars will be at a disadvantage.
Yeah. Listen, I think from a logic standpoint, you're not wrong.
Yeah, especially when you're talking about a new defense, supposedly, a new offensive coordinator, a quarterback going into a second year, and a whole slew of new rookies.
Yeah, fair enough. How about this one? Do you like the idea of crowd noise being pumped in from Fox? Joe Buck says it's coming in. Virtual fans. I wonder if I could put myself
First of all, let me ask you.
Can I be a virtual fan and I can make my own? Can you make your own Brent as a virtual fan and put me in
just
section?
Giving Sean Payton the finger the whole time and just calling him out.
Can you put me in section 203 there at TIAA? I mean, now that would be cool if I could create my own virtual fan, send it to Fox, and they put me in the stadium. I think that would be kind of fun. Did I just make something up?
Yeah, you did. But let me ask you this question, though. Are you, because I have to know what I have to address here and where my mindset's going to be for this conversation. How do you feel about it, first of all?
Don't like it.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't like it because, listen, here's what you always do in this stuff. You say, I don't like it. That's stupid. Right?
That was exactly my reaction this morning.
Of course it was. But
quote.
But when Fox tried probably a bunch of things, like get that damn scoreboard off my screen when they did that way back in the day, you know how many people said, that's so stupid. Why is that there?
It's different, Brent.
Well, now we couldn't watch a game. We couldn't watch a play without the scoreboard.
This is not even in the same realm.
No, but it is, though. That's
it's
what
not,
happens.
Brent.
Yes, that's what happens. Fox tries things, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. I'm just saying, my first reaction is that's dumb.
Correct.
Because, well, what did we just say? I'm intrigued by listening to the game up close and closer than I've ever heard it before.
You're taking it away.
As a viewer, and you're taking that away.
You're taking it away. Listen, do you know why Seinfeld's the greatest sitcom of all time?
Jerry?
Well, it's because when the laugh track went off, it was warranted. Like, when people were laughing in the live studio audience, that made sense. When you have laugh tracks of shows like The Big Bang Theory and Friends and things like that, I hated those shows because the audience would be laughing. I'd be like, that's not funny. I get the joke, but that's not funny. I never once did that with Seinfeld. Every other sitcom that had like the live studio audience or the laugh track, I always did that. Well, I always questioned it. Football, it's the same thing. Like, you're seriously going to tell me that you're going to pump noise into a stadium with 0 people so it comes across on TV and it's not going to rub people the wrong way? Like, all of a sudden we have to be told when to cheer? We have to be told when we're sitting at home, be like, well, that was a good play. Let's go ahead and cheer it up. No, man. Like, you're taking away the coolest thing that you could have had, where you give the behind-the-scenes access, where you peel the curtain back and you can hear the field access. That's what people want, Brent. We hear it all the time. People want the behind the scenes. People want the in-depth interviews. People want to go on Instagram Live and see what players are like off the field. You had a chance to do that, but now you're going to cover it up with crowd noise, manufactured crap crowd noise for no reason. I think it's the dumbest thing ever. Honestly, I think it's a dumb thing for football. Maybe I'm in the minority here, but I think it's gonna come across as a nightmare. And this isn't just me trying to pile on something that's the cool thing to do, or you hate on something. I literally think you're going to ruin a cool thing by hearing what can happen on the field.
Well, I think you're probably not in the minority. I think most people would say that, but I also think you got to at least allow yourself to say maybe it's not as bad as I think it is. The birds chirping from CBS during the Masters, once people said it, those are fake, or some of it's fake, they were like, oh my gosh. Well, they didn't mind it when they didn't know it was fake. They didn't mind it before that.
But Brent, you don't watch the Masters and expect to see birds chirping.
You hear it. It's part of the subconscious.
Yeah, but
so will they make the crowd part of the subconscious?
But if you're watching a football game and someone scores a touchdown, they celebrate, they're going to cut to the guy in the end zone, and you're going to hear crowd noise. No one's going to be there. It's going to throw you off your senses.
Listen, again, I've got to come at you from this point of view. I am a big we did this on the show, I think it was last week. I think there's a great opportunity here to watch the game live with no crowd, with nothing else, and hear just the violence of the game, the cracks of the helmet, sometimes the cracks of the bones, the swearing, the whatever, the conversations. Now, of course, you're going to have to monitor all that, which it might be part of this reason. It could become very difficult to do for broadcasters. That might be more intensive than we think it is. It might just not be doable. So that's why Fox feels like they might have to do it this way. But I also, in this industry, I'm a huge believer in that subconscious. I believe there are things that we do or we try to do in, say, radio or television that you really don't tell the viewer or the listener. And if you did, it would sound stupid. But there's a belief that as you're watching, it makes it more comfortable. As you're listening, it might make it more comfortable. And so I'm wondering if Fox is kind of going about it that way. Like, it won't be in your face. It won't be like laugh track, wrong spot, whoops. I just wonder if there will be it's almost like the 16th, 17th, 18th holes at TPC Sawgrass during the Players for golfers, where there's this constant murmur, and sometimes there's an eruption at 17. But there's this constant noise, and that's in a world of golf where everybody's used to this constant quiet. What we are as viewers, we're used to some kind of noise, some kind of ambient sound. And so is Fox trying to implement a little bit of that? Could they potentially overdo that? Yes. I wonder if it is more that's what's making me think it might be worth more of a try of it and might be more successful than it sounds at face value.
See, and granted, it's two different sports. I compare it to MMA, right? MMA came off pretty good for UFC 249. It came off pretty good, this past night on Wednesday in terms of no crowd there, right? Like, yeah, it was a little different at first, but I wasn't watching those fights thinking like, wow, this is so different about the crowd noise. Man, I was locked in. I was ready to roll. So once again, I mean, I get trying to add the audio aspect, hit that audio sense, right? Because, I mean, you have your visual, what you see on the field, and you have to add to the sense of hearing things. But to me, once again, that's where miking up the players comes in handy because they wear pads. Brent, you've been to a million practices. You know how loud those pads are, right? Yeah. Like when a play is snapped and those linemen collide, it's loud, man. So put the mics on the players, mic up those pad hits, and you're gonna have your stimulus. You're gonna have your senses catered to the sound of football. Like that's what I want. I don't want manufactured. I want 100% authentic because I think if you start manufacturing stuff, man, you take away the glory and the greatness of the game.
Listen, remember this conversation, okay? And remember where you stand on it. And then let's talk about it again a month into it.
Yeah.
And where maybe CBS and NBC and others are not doing that and kind of giving us the authentic, real version. And maybe Fox is kind of giving us the listening senses, the hearing senses of that at a tolerable level, a subconscious, as I kind of think of it, level. I just wonder. I wonder because, again, some of these things at face value, they sound atrocious.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it works. And Fox has been innovative in that sense. And they've swung and missed sometimes, too. But they've also hit home runs on some of it. So I just wonder how they're going to attack it, how they're going to execute it. The fake fans thing is kind of goofy to me. Although I believe if you could somehow find a way.
It's not Madden.
If you seriously could find a way to reach the fans and do what I just said, like that would be golden. Seriously, like if I could put Steph,
come on,
Ty,
man.
Kaylee, and me in section 203, and I could help create that.
You're out of your mind.
It'd be great.
Oh, yeah. How did it come across the NFL draft when those cities were cheering for their teams? Did you really care? When Roger Goodell was saying, all right, Jets fans, come on, boo me, like, did that affect you at all? Because it didn't do crap for me.
It didn't do, but here's where they missed on that. Goodell tried too hard to be interactive with that. It also was fine when it was just in the background. In my opinion.
But to me, it wasn't a game changer, though.
No, it wasn't.
To me, it wasn't like, oh, wow. They have the fans on the TVs. That's so cool. Like, I was like, okay, whatever.
That's fine. But again, I thought they brought too much attention to it. And that's what I'm talking about, the subconscious. See, that one would have worked better to me as a subconscious thing. Rather than this graphic behind Goodell, the whole time of saying the draft.
Yeah.
Instead, you had this fan presence, and you're just it was just part of the visual. But
so,
he tried to make it a thing.
Though, then? Like, what do you want that visual to be then for the draft? What did you want?
Oh, the visual of it was fine. I just didn't like the interaction of Goodell because he was trying to be funny at times. He's not that. He's too quirky.
No, dude,
he's just not that guy.
That was like an SNL monologue gone bad many times over.
Listen, it doesn't work. Like if Ryan Seacrest was hosting the draft and he wanted to interact, it would work better, but it still wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't have been good. It was 10 times worse with Goodell doing it because he's got no personality to begin with.
Yeah.
So it didn't work. But my point was the subconscious of just having those guys back there wouldn't have bothered you.
Yeah.
It bothered you because Goodell tried to make it more of a thing than it was.
Let me ask you this.
In my opinion.
Is there a liability concern of the NFL? Because what do they always preach? They preach player safety. Now, do I believe that? Is that the number one priority of the NFL? Cash. But, whatever. Think what you want to think about that. That's another story for another day. But in terms of, those bone-crunching hits. In terms of miking up the players as loud as possible, you can hear every single play. When the ball is snapped, those linemen engaging, you hear the thud. You hear the crack of the helmets. Is the NFL kind of worried about that from a health standpoint and maybe a bad optic standpoint where it's like, well, yeah, this is a violent game, but we don't want it to come across as this violent?
It's a great call, man. And I don't.
But are they worried?
Yeah, I think they could be.
Yeah.
I think they could be.
Yeah.
Listen, if moms, which I think moms do, watch that game, and they hear all that, it's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, wait a minute. My kid is trying to do that. Like he wants to do
football side of him. She's going to gymnastics.
He wants to do that for a living.
Yeah.
wait a minute, what are we doing here? Go
Yeah.
play baseball.
Yeah.
Go play basketball. That's a great point. I didn't really think of, but a serious one, regardless of this situation, already over the last handful of years because of concussions, because of CTE. It's a youth football is what? It's down.
Correct.
There are less and less playing. I'm not saying they got a huge problem. I still think there are plenty of people playing, but it's down. The numbers are down because of safety concerns. That's a valid point. Didn't think of it. That's a great one. And I think you're right, though. I think it could come off as, well, the same thing in essence. See, watching the UFC last night, Saturday here in Jacksonville, Steph and the kids don't really watch a lot of it.
Yeah.
I mean, quite frankly, I don't watch a lot of it.
Sure.
But if you're watching
I appreciate the effort.
your reaction to it, you have to get by these initial stages of, oh my gosh, this is barbaric.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
They didn't care if there were fans or not.
Correct.
But they did notice it was barbaric.
They did.
Right?
Yeah.
It was bloody. It looked like it hurt. It was the reason we had our topic yesterday. What's more violent to the performer, to the athlete?
Yep.
Football or UFC?
And I was very adamant about
football. If I
football.
asked my kids that Saturday night,
UFC,
they would say UFC. If I ask people, they say UFC. Now, your explanation of it that said NFL makes a lot of sense, and you've done both, so you know. But it's really a good point, what you just said, because dads will be like, look at this. This is unbelievable.
Come on, son, give me another beer. Let's go. We got some bone rattling hits.
Meanwhile, mom's about to send her kid to a high school practice after hearing that stuff. You know what I mean? And really, I don't mean to stereotype moms and dads like that, but you get the point. I think it's a pretty good point. You want to come across as this barbaric sport when you do preach player safety.
So here's the thing with the UFC, though. If the crowd noise was there, and if the crowd was there for that Tony Ferguson fight, right? And then that was really the highlight of that night, right? Like that's where you saw MMA for what it was. It could be a blood sport, okay?
Yeah.
It's violent. Like I always call it, it's the beautiful violence. I call it the ultimate art form, but I'm not naive to say there's going to be blood and then there's going to be damage taken. So I'm not naive to that. But I think even if you add the crowd, Brent, that actually maybe ups it up a little more, right? Because imagine Tony Ferguson taking all those shots. Imagine Tony Ferguson, where it's like, man, throw in the towel, that guy's done. Now imagine a crowd cheering for that, okay? And if you're a viewer at home and you hear that, it's like, wow, I can't believe they're actually cheering for this. So I make an argument and say, is it actually more of a quote-unquote blood sport to the casual fan if the fans are in the crowd cheering for it? But now here's where I stand on the NFL topic, and does it send the wrong message of, if you do have the mics on the field and everything, no crowd noise, and you hear these hits, does it send the wrong message to the youth? Does it send the wrong message to parents? And does it send really the wrong message to the game of football? And I'll be honest, I'm torn, right? Because firsthand that's what it is, okay? You said you wouldn't take $1 million to go play a football or a drive or whatever. You said it many times on this show. And people want to call you crazy, but you say that because you've been on the field, Brent. You've heard those sounds. You've seen the injuries. So you know what it's all about. People don't really know what it's all about sitting, in Section 205 or whatever like that. Like they think they know, but they don't. So I'm kind of torn because to me, if you try to mask those hits and if you try to mask all that sound, well, you're essentially masking something that's always been there.
Yeah.
Right? But you don't want to show the audience because you're afraid because you want to come off as good optics, quote unquote. But I'm here to tell you, it doesn't matter, man. That's the way it's always been. So what are you trying to hide? But the other side of me is, well, you know what? I get it, right? Because if you are that mom or if you are that dad watching with your family, watching with your son, maybe watching with your daughter, who knows? And they want to play football. And then you hear some of these hits, and it's reinforced. And keep in mind, these are the top 1% of the 1% in terms of physicality, in terms of athleticism, in terms of football player. But still, it's on your TV. It's in front of you. It's a hard thing to sell to say, all right, son, let's go practice in the backyard. Let's go run some of those routes because that'll be you one day. It's hard to have that conversation.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I'm not sure if the kids even watch it. If they're of age and the right age, they're be like, wait a minute, I want to go there.
Yeah,
that's a great point. I didn't think of it. It was a great point, and one that you do wonder if the NFL wants to monitor. So is this a Fox decision or could it be an NFL decision in terms of how the games are presented without fans, something that we can continue to talk about as we get closer and closer. Want to give a senior shout-out here on the show on a Thursday on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Adriana Cazares, a Fletcher Senior High School senior. Her grandmother sends it in, says, so proud of this 2020 class president, a great student, a big heart, and a wonderful person. Congratulations to Adriana for her graduation from Fletcher High School. A salute to all the seniors, a senior shout out. You can send a senior a shout out as well. ESPN690.com. Go there, give us the information, put their name in, give them a little bit of a message, and we'll share it here on the show, 3 p.m. until 6 p.m., Monday through Friday, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. We've got a few topics to get into still. Real quick, though, UFC last night. Did they pull it off again? That main event fight was, wow, why didn't they stop that, right?
Exactly.
Speaking of violence.
Yeah, so did UFC pull it off? I mean, I think to a casual audience, they absolutely... Well, here's the thing, though. Here's my issue. It wasn't on regular ESPN. It was only on ESPN+. Plus.
It was.
So you talk about ESPN, who's hurting for sports content, who's hurting for live sports, and you put the card on a Wednesday night on ESPN Plus? How does that work? Oh, cool, yeah, let's go watch the Red Sox-Yankees game from 2011 while we have live sports on ESPN Plus. Once again, ESPN, I'm not hating on you guys because you guys are kind of paying the bills a little bit, and I have a free ESPN Plus subscription. It's great. But I'm saying, what were you guys doing? What were you thinking there? So I didn't like that.
Wait a minute, yours is free?
Well, I use it from years. Now that that's on the table.
Mine is not free.
Now that that's Continue on the table where I'm really, eating from Brett Martineau's bowl,
right.
if you will.
Why are my favorite teams the Milwaukee Bucks?
Detroit Red Wings? I know,
Detroit Red Wings on my ESPN page.
You got a little Murray State update up there every once in a while. Yeah, sorry about that. Well, now that that's on the table, back to the fights. Listen, they were great fights once again. A lot of knockouts is what you want, But
how did they not stop the one fight?
The main event.
The guy knocked his teeth out.
Glover Teixeira and Anthony Smith. I'm just going to say this. And once again, I don't like being critical of cornermen or fighters because I've been in there. I know how it goes. But if your fighter comes to the corner after a round and he's spitting out his teeth like chiclets or Tic Tacs and he's not making eye contact with you as you're trying to talk to him, that fighter wants out, okay? Now, they call Anthony Smith the Lionheart for a reason. The guy will never quit, okay? The guy will go on his shield and die before he says, I quit or I tap, okay? So props to him for doing that. But it's the corner's job to realize that, to say, you know what? He's not looking me in the eyes. He's not making good eye contact. This guy wants a way out.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw in the towel.
He took a beating.
They didn't do that. Fractured orbital, fractured nose, lost, I think, 3 teeth, and other injuries as well.
Teixeira, you can hear him during the thing. He apologized for beating him up so badly.
Yeah. Man, I mean, listen, sometimes your job as a cornerman is to win fights, but it's also to save the fighter from himself. And they didn't save Anthony Smith last night.
Did they really keep milk by the cage, like Conor McGregor said? Did you see that tweet?
Yeah, I never heard of that.
Yeah, he said they keep milk.
I guess, but who's losing teeth in MMA? But you got a mouth guard. I don't know. That's crazy.
He was.
Yeah.
Hey, when we come back, some of the best images in sports history, like Bobby Orr flying through the air for the Boston Bruins. What other ones come to mind? Next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy tonight, somewhat breezy yet this evening as temperatures drop into the low to mid-60s. Partly sunny and breezy on Friday. An isolated brief shower with highs in the low 80s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jack's Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
Weather is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Right now, get 5 years, 0 interest financing on anything in the store. Beard's Diamonds.
Over the last weeks, we found out exactly what we can and cannot live without. We were told what is essential and non-essential. But here's what we learned. Even though some of us were 6 feet apart, others have never been closer. We've come to appreciate love and our relationships more than ever. At Diamonds Direct, we are now open for business again, ready to get back to our mission. We're so proud to be a part of this community, and we're honored to help you celebrate with the ultimate symbol of love. We have taken every precaution to ensure our stores are clean and safe, and our associates are excited to see you in our showroom. But we are now also offering remote and virtual appointments using the latest technology, along with curbside pickups and overnight delivery, so you have every possible option. All this, of course, on top of the guaranteed best values that you expect from Diamonds Direct. So if you've discovered that someone you can't live without, please visit us. Let us help you find that piece of jewelry that will will have a story like no other. And remember, no matter what, Diamonds Direct will always be here because love is essential. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Off Town Center Parkway.
J. David Tax Law wants you to know that they are here to help individuals and businesses with tax debt issues during the coronavirus pandemic. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Tax problems can be extremely stressful, especially now. If you owe a tax debt, there are new programs available that can help reduce or eliminate your IRS or sales tax burden. These programs expire on July 15th, so don't wait. Get the help you need with tax debt, payroll taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens, and unfiled returns. With a $1 trillion economic stimulus package on the way, the IRS will be collecting an unprecedented amount of tax debt to fund this historic initiative. At J. David Tax Law, only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you. Never trust your tax situation to anyone you can't walk in and look in the eye. If you have federal or state sales tax debt, have a sit down with J. David Tax Law. Your first step is a no-cost consultation. Call J. David Tax Law at 904-507-4777 or go to jdavidtaxlaw.com.
Where is this water coming from?
Who will deliver us lunch?
Why is the air conditioner blowing hot air?
Where can I get a tire fixed?
Do you know someone who can get marker stains out of the carpet?
What do we need to do to get the pool ready?
These and hundreds of other questions are still being asked daily. Will the answer be your business or your competitors? Don't leave it to chance. Let Cox Media Group Jacksonville make you the answer to their questions. Contact us at 245-8732 or email buildjax@cmg.com and let's build Jax.
Hi everyone, I'm Kim, Client Relations Manager here at Reliant. Reliant has always been focused on the customer experience. Reliant has been a leader in the industry when it comes to using technology to connect with our clients whenever needed. So while everything around us continues to change and other contractors are scrambling to adapt to the new normal, Reliant remains steadfast, ready to serve our clients. Our client coordinators are available to discuss your roofing, solar, and hurricane shutter projects, so give us a call today.
Hello? Hey, boss, how's it going?
Hanging like a hermit.
I hear you. Hey, how's your mom doing? I know you're worried because she lives alone and all.
She's good, thanks. Every night she's getting dinner delivered. And every night she answers the door with her SafeTouch security app.
Ah, no contact delivery.
Yeah, and SafeTouch cameras are encrypted with all kinds of safeguards.
Yeah, you don't see headlines about SafeTouch systems getting hacked.
Exactly. Can't believe I'm saying it, but I just feel better knowing she has SafeTouch. She's got her emergency buttons, her two-way communicator, the guaranteed response time.
Boss, sounds like you have a love-hate relationship with SafeTouch.
That's complicated. Because being crooks and all, we still gotta stick to the Crooks R Us motto. Stay away from SafeTouch houses. Yeah, the struggle is real.
Crooks know to stay away from SafeTouch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of SafeTouch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
If you have a specific medical problem, you call a specialist. Broken leg? Call an orthopedist. Cataracts? Call an ophthalmologist. At Prime Men's Medical Center, our doctors specialize in ED and PE. Listen to Dr. Rubinski, a renowned expert in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinski. If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications to help you last longer in the bedroom, regardless of age or past medical history, with no pain or surgery. In fact, you'll see results in the office guaranteed or your exam is free. Patients are now lasting for 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. And best of all, treatments are affordable.
Men. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, call Prime Men's Medical Center for a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians. Call 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105.
We've had our new AC unit from Bold City Heating and Air for over a year now, and the entire experience has been great. Hey, everyone, this is Brent Martineau. You can trust Bold City Heating and Air like my family has. Right now, Bold City Heating and Air is offering easy financing for repairs or new air conditioning units and a $500 cash rebate for a new air conditioning installation. Get 0% financing for 12 months or 9.9% for up to 96 6 months. Don't put off that new AC unit or repairs. Get it done now before the season really heats up. The Bold City team is focused on your safety and takes maximum precautions to sanitize and create a safe work zone. For a free, no-obligation consultation and price quote, visit boldcityac.com. Your AC unit is a very important investment for you and your family. So do what my family did. Go to boldcityac.com. You can trust Bold City Heating and Air.
Hi, I'm Nathan from Gordon Chevy in Orange Park. We're all about saving you money, especially right now, where we all need great deals to put smiles on our faces. So check out a hot new Silverado and save up to $9,500, or a new Equinox crossover and save up to $6,500. Plus, you can delay the first payment for up to 4 months. Check out the deals at GordonChevy.com, arrange for home delivery, curbside pickup, or visit us in our freshly cleaned showroom. We are here to accommodate. Gordon Chevy and the money-saving end of Blanding in Orange Park. Chevy, find new roads.
Take a look out your window right now. Things appear basically the same, but you know they're not. Same with your business. There have been changes, some might even be permanent. Only time will tell. But in the meantime, how will you respond? Stay the course, or will you explore the new opportunities in front of you? At Cox Media Group Jacksonville, we know that those who explore often discover wonderful new things. If you're willing, we're able to help. Contact us at 245-8732 or email buildjax@cmg.com. And let's build Jax.
Our normal way of life has been changing quickly due to coronavirus. New rules to follow, and basically all sports have been put on hold. Heck, you might even be working from home. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. If you're not in the car from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m., check in on Action Sports Jax on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Y'all gotta understand too, because y'all gonna be like, bro, Blake, play for the love of the game, man. What's wrong with you, bro? Money should not be a thing. Bro, I'm risking my life. What do you mean it should not be a thing? It 100% should be a thing. If I'm gonna play, I should be getting the money I signed to be getting paid. I should not be getting half of what I'm getting paid because the season's cut in half, on top of a 33% cut of the half that's already there. So I'm really getting like 25%. On top of that, it's getting taxed. So imagine how much I'm actually making to play. You know what I'm saying? All that money's gone. And now I play risking my life.
You don't believe that's Blake Snell, do you?
Well, I'm looking at his picture and I'm hearing what he's saying. It doesn't line up, all right? Sorry. Doesn't line up at all. He looks like Ryan Braun's like younger cousin who dropped out of high school.
Hey, listen, if we didn't have the video elements of this show, nobody would ever imagine how handsome and athletic I look either. So I get it.
Well, hey, I mean, the guy won a Cy Young. So who might have said based on his looks and everything?
People used to tell me all the time that I sound shorter than I am, which I always thought was weird.
That's so weird.
I never understood that.
I do get a lot of that for TV. Like, you look, it's not a lot of like the you look chubbier. Like everybody says, the camera adds
TV
10 pounds.
yeah.
I don't get a lot of that. I mean, sometimes people say it. I think half the time they're joking.
That's mean.
But they do say a lot shorter or taller. Like, a lot of people say you look short. You are shorter than you look on TV, which I guess is we all kind of look the same size on TV for the most part. So
all they say to me is, "There he is." Yep, there he is. What's up, man? Kuz, do you think it's because like, and I don't want to be mean here, okay? But
oh boy.
But okay, for instance, because like, I mean, yeah.
In all honesty,
with all due respect, okay.
By the way, when someone says "with all due respect," there's zero respect about to come.
Thanks,
here it
That's
comes.
what we're after.
And keep in mind, it's just you and me tomorrow, so let's try to have some chemistry for tomorrow too. But like, do you think people say that because your voice is like a little higher pitch? So like,
probably.
So you think of like the lollipop guild from Wizard of Oz, right?
Yeah.
So then, do you think people have that preconceived notion when they hear you, and then all of a sudden they see you? It's like, whoa!
Yeah,
this
it's weird.
isn't the
People
guy.
are like, when you talk, I think you're walking down the yellow brick road,
There you
but
go.
when I see you,
yeah. Doing the dance?
Can we get
doing the march?
We gotta get a promo out of that. I mean, can we steal something from the Wizard of Oz and match that up? I mean, I'll make the damn promo for this one.
Lollipop Guild. Yeah, I like that, man. Sorry, whatever.
The greatest part there was almost Coos kind of welcomed it.
Yeah.
Like he embraced
be honest,
it.
Is the first time you heard it or not? You probably heard it before, haven't you?
No, I haven't heard that before.
Okay,
I have been, like, I could show you guys videos I have. Like, my mom has videos of me, and I'm in, like, 11th grade, and the voice is really high.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm not far off from you, man. That's it. I'm the same way. So
Hey, you know what, dude? Coos, you just be you, man. You own it, and I respect it, man. It's just a voice. Who cares?
All right. So anyway, that was Blake
I
Snell.
end up getting paid for it. So.
Right.
Blake Snell, who has like a $50 million contract, Cy Young Award winner for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah.
I think
putting his life on the line.
I know, life on the line.
Life on the line, though, huh?
What are we doing here? Like, do you think he was fully sober during this? He's playing a video game on Twitch. He does this a lot, like the streams.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, okay? I said this the other day. This is where baseball's going to have a big problem. Fans want to see sports.
Correct.
Baseball fans want to see baseball. Baseball fans don't have time for this. Sports fans don't have time for this.
No,
they
Blake
don't
Snell,
feel bad for you.
You are not an ambassador for
You are
baseball.
not.
Sorry, man.
But I think at the same time, are you wrong? Okay? So I had this conversation today. Ty's a Rays fan. Ty's a Blake Snell fan. So I showed Steph and the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, Steph's like, kind of like all of us reacting like, are you serious? And here's what comes out of the conversation, though. I said, okay, what if our company asked me, let's just say, I'm just going to throw numbers out there. Our company makes $25 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, hey, Brent, we need you to take like a 2/3 pay cut.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Really?
You're
tough times.
But you're going to be upset. You're not going to be happy about it.
That's what I'm saying. Tough times. Yeah, okay, I get it. Company says, yeah, we're only going to make $15 million this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and so I have to lose 2/3 of my salary. So I can hardly pay my mortgage or whatever, but you're going to make $15 million? Like, that's why I have to do it?
Mm-hmm.
And so my point to that is he completely wrong in principle? See, I think there's this thought that Major League Baseball owners are going broke. Now, some of the teams are going to have a lot harder time with this, and Tampa might be one of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because they're a lower revenue team, a smaller market team. But I don't think anybody's going bankrupt here. I think it's just a matter of how much money you were making versus how much money you are going to make. Hey, you got to be careful with some of the big salary guys. And that's what I thought it was interesting from Ty. I said, Ty, so how do you feel about it? He's like, I think Steph first said, like, hey, you got to have why don't there just be a threshold then? Like, if you're making over a certain amount of money, then you've got to take a cut and maybe a bigger cut. And I mean, quite frankly, I think that's what people have argued about taxes for a long time.
I was just going to bring that up.
But even in Ty's 15-year-old mind, who really doesn't care about all that kind of stuff, he's like, yeah, why don't they? If you're making this amount of money, then yeah, take a cut. Now, if you're only making $300,000 to play, and you're like
you don't make
well, then maybe you take a cut, but not 70% of your pay.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I like to get that perspective sometimes, especially around this, because it's not preconceived.
Yeah.
It's just kind of coming straight from wherever we think. So I'm not saying the 15-year-old's always right, but it comes without preconceived notions. This is more complicated than people want to admit. But the big story here is people don't feel bad for you, Blake Snell, and it's certainly not life or death. So don't frame it that way. That's stupidity.
He's trying to frame it with the coronavirus.
He is.
But
if he gets it, it's not life and death. The numbers show us
I know,
that.
But here's the thing, though. If you're going to have that kind of energy, then I'm going to say that every time I come home from work and my wife's like, hey, we have to go get oranges, we have to get apples, can you run to Publix? Well, I'm putting my life on the line here, sweetie. You better make it worth my while here. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's the kind of energy I'm going to have then, because I think it's more risky to go to Publix or to go to a grocery store than it is to go play baseball. Okay? So he has the wrong mindset there.
Absolutely.
Okay? Like, that...
Making $7 million a year, you can't have a poor me mentality.
Yeah. And see... I guess I don't want to say I'm on the fence here because you hate that term. But I see what Blake Snell's trying to do, though.
I understand the concept of it.
He's trying to lead the rallying cry to be like, we got to stand up for ourselves, too. We're workers, too. We're employees, too. And we deserve our fair share because of as much money the owners make and the game of baseball makes. So I see what he's doing from that standpoint. But what I can't co-sign on is how you're going about doing this, okay? I was with you, Blake Snell. I was ready to ride with you, man, until you said that you're risking your life. Okay, there's nurses out there, there's doctors out there, there's people in the medical field that are really risking their lives. Okay, that every single day they go to work, they risk their lives, and I don't think they're really asking for, well, we should get a pay cut or we should get more pay because of it. No, like they go about their business, they do their job because that's what they do. Now that's the healthcare. I get it. It's not baseball, but still, man, like. We talked about Yannick Ngakoue and the bad optics, right? When Yannick Ngakoue said he wanted more money, and then how bad that look across from people that are, going through it right now, unemployment, everything like that. And I that wasn't a big deal to me. I didn't really care because that's a different set of thinking. But in Blake Snell's case, man, that hits home in my opinion. So I respect the way I respect what he's trying to preach, but he's not going about it the right way trying to preach it.
Yeah, and if I'm reading this correctly, too, so the question is, like, my thought, and actually the kid's thought on this, too, was, what if they don't play? How much will they make?
Yeah.
And I think I just saw something, and hopefully this makes sense, but 4%, they have this, like, fund, basically, for players, and it'll be a tiered system of how much you make. But I think what I'm reading here is 4%. Let's see, the players agreed to an advance of $170 million, less than 4% of their total salaries in a full season, prorated salaries for whatever portion of the season is played. That's what they agreed to back in March. And now, because there's this new 50-50 revenue proposal, blah, 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 some of that is changing. But 4% of his $7 million this year, if that's what he were to get, is like $280,000. Is Blake Snell essentially saying, hey, I would rather skip the season and get $280,000 for not working and save my arm for an extra year rather than do this on an unscheduled kind of basis for a half a season that might not go along anyway, just to appease fans and owners and everybody else? Could he potentially be saying that? They're going to get some cut of money anyhow.
Yeah.
So it's interesting where they're coming from. Again, this will fall so far off the charts of the fan. You can't relate. It's unrelatable. I'm not saying he's totally wrong like you are in principle. His attack on this is awful, first of all, and the players are going to lose so handsomely in the public perception if they don't get back and play baseball. If they have the opportunity to, and they don't because of negotiations over money, it is just going to kill the players in terms of popularity. It could then kill the sport of baseball for however long again. It's not going to be good.
But this is Blake Snell, though. Okay, like you never hear Steph Curry, you never hear LeBron James, you never hear Giannis say this type of stuff. Okay, you wouldn't hear Mike Trout, probably even like Bryce Harper. Like I'm talking like the ambassadors, the big names of baseball. And no offense to Blake Snell because he's had a fantastic career in his own right, but you aren't at the forefront, in my opinion. Okay, like I'm gonna go on the street and ask, hey, who does Blake Snell play for? Half the people are going to be like, "Who? I've never heard of. What sport does Blake Snell play?" Okay. So with that being said, this is just one guy's opinion, and let's be honest, Brent. Every single professional athlete will have a different opinion about this.
Oh yeah.
I mean, people are affected by it in different ways. Some people, like some athletes, are affected by it themselves with COVID-19. Some probably have family members. Some probably have friends. So everyone approaches this topic in a different way. So everyone's not on the same page. But with Blake Snell, you went off the script, you went off the charts here by literally attacking people then, right? And then to try to paint a pity party and to say you should feel sorry for me with what I'm going through. Nah, man, the whole world's feeling sorry for themselves right now. We don't have time to feel sorry for you as well. So that's where I wish he would have thought about what he said before he said.
Yeah, very good take. By the way, PGA Championship in golf is supposed to start today in TPC Harding Park.
Wow.
Of course, it's been pushed back to August. Golf will get going in a month. A couple more quick hitters here. We've been kind of talking about it and teasing it a little bit, and we're going to get to this one and not hold off till tomorrow.
I wish we could. We need some talk about. Yeah.
Images of sports. You mentioned the Bobby Orr. What else comes to mind, and what makes it so great?
Yeah.
Bobby Orr's has been so celebrated. That is an awesome shot. Dennis Rodman, there's a shot of him doing pretty much a similar thing into the crowd, which really exemplifies how hard he played the game. Pete Rose, there's that great shot of diving into third base from right in line with Pete Rose's head first slide. Yeah. Charlie Hustle, man, that's the way he played the game. It personifies. One shot kind of personifies the way he plays the game, even though he's really the all-time hits leader, and that's what he's known for as well.
Yeah.
So what other images kind of just stick out in your mind, and why are we in love with them?
Yeah, to me, one that sticks out more than anything And they always say that you should never mix sports and politics, right? And we saw it happen with Colin Kaepernick, and just whatever side you were on, like it was a polarizing topic. Well, if you go back to the late 60s and Tommy Smith and John Carlos, when they raised their hands with those black gloves in Mexico City at the Olympics after they won their medals, I mean, you want to talk about, number one, not only a political statement, but just a powerful statement when the entire world was watching, man. You cannot beat that. Like on that scale, under those circumstances, like to me that image will forever be iconic.
Yeah. I think of photos in sports history, and that's one.
Yeah.
And listen, the kneeling down of Colin Kaepernick will play out in history as being a very strong image, not just Kaepernick, but other ones.
Yeah. Because you look at those images, you have to ask, how did it what happened after that image? Then?
Yeah, and that's why it won't live just yet like that, but it will potentially down the road.
Exactly.
Sports Illustrated had this greatest images of all time. Cool. Look at this. How awesome is this one of Ali knocking down Cleveland Big Cat Williams?
Yeah.
And we're not showing it to you, but, I mean, it's this blimp view, basically, of Ali with his hands raised and Big Cat Williams on the deck, sprawled out.
And then the other one, too, I have right here with Muhammad Ali, when he fought Sonny Liston. And, like, that picture's big for a lot of reasons. Number one, everybody counted Ali out in that fight. Sonny Liston was supposed to win. Ali knocks him out. It is what it is. But the reason why that picture's so iconic is because they couldn't get a picture of the knockout shot because it was so fast. Like literally when he threw his counter punch, like the cameras could not pick it up for whatever reason, the shutter speed or whatever it is. I'm not really technical, but like they couldn't get a clear picture of Muhammad Ali throwing the punch. So that's why that punch or the picture where he's standing over Sonny Liston, he kind of holding his shoulder a little bit. That's why that picture became so iconic, was because that's all they had from the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild. I'm looking at what a Michael Jordan slam dunk contest. How about flying through the, unbelievable.
Yeah.
There's so many good shots now, whether it's LeBron James or whoever else, Zion Williamson. But I'll tell you one that will be underrated, and I think of it in this context. You almost remember the image more than the video.
Okay.
And that is when the United States women's soccer team
won,
and Brandi Chastain takes the shirt, right?
Yeah.
And the image of that's an image more than a video piece. But, that's like, in modern day, you think video. You think HD video. You think all these kind of, slow motion, and you don't lose any. It's not black and white. It's not grainy. It's crystal clear.
Yeah.
Well, images were that crystal clear scene. When Ali's fighting, there's still kind of some grainy nature to that video.
Yeah.
Not in the picture. The image is crystal, man. It looks good. But that's what's interesting about those kind of images. Chastain is one that will stay in people's minds forever. And obviously that triumphant moment and the unusual nature of what she did.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Because far before the Justin Timberlake, Janet Jacksons, there was Brandi Chastain, and I remember being a kid. I remember watching that match with my stepdad and my mom, and we're all gathered on the TV on the couch, we're watching it, man. We're into it, let's go USA. And then she does that, and I remember thinking, what? My mom was kind of taken back, and my stepdad's like, what? We were all in shock. Nowadays someone does that, who cares? But it was such a monumental moment, and especially for not only soccer but women's sports in general.
That's right.
I mean, that ushered in kind of the new wave of sports.
No doubt.
For females.
No
obviously.
doubt. I mean, somebody probably already has written on that, but or will write just how much impact. You talk about now 20 years later, women's sports and how much it's changed and the power of women's sports. Now, United States women's soccer is still trying to get what they feel is deserved from them, but they have helped change that perception. And definitely women's sports is as powerful as it's ever been because of kind of that moment and others from Serena Williams, Venus Williams, and I can count many more. Here's another one for you. In Jacksonville, you don't think of too many. I'm trying to think of maybe a Jags moment.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to get my guy Logan Bowles, who's an NFL photographer and does a lot of the Jag stuff, just to kind of say what makes a great picture. Well, he's got a great shot of Ramsey dunking it over the goalpost.
Nice.
After he makes the pick against the Bills. I mean, it's an awesome shot. Just tremendous. And that will be one that sticks out, I think, in the Jacksonville memories, even though there's not this love affair with Jalen Ramsey. It's just such a poignant moment.
So people from our generations, Brent, and obviously you're a little older than I am, but I think you can still fall in this category. you grew up with the posters on the wall, right?
Yeah.
You either took a scissors and cut out like Sports Illustrated pictures, like I did, like covers or ESPN covers, but you hung them on the wall. Who were some of your guys that you hung on the wall in terms of sports that you had in your wall in your bedroom?
Oof, great call. Larry Bird.
Yeah, well, I knew that one was coming. Larry Bird, and instead of dunking a basketball, just like shooting a three.
Just his Converses.
Shooting a three.
Okay, listen. The greatest poster of all time is Bo Jackson
with the shirt off,
yeah. Shoulder pads,
and listen,
baseball pads.
And I showed you my senior picture before, I think, back in the day, where I kind of
You tried to do it.
I
Yes,
did it.
I remember that.
No, I was skinny. I was about 185 pounds, but that's what I tried to do as well.
Yeah,
So yeah,
Bo
that's
Jackson
iconic.
was cool. That I know Jordan, but Jordan I didn't have. I'll tell you that. Again, I've said this many times. My room was more decorated, even more so than Larry Bird, with Dan Marino stuff.
Wow,
I had Marino stuff everywhere. I had like teal carpet.
Yeah,
I had Miami Dolphins everything.
Sure.
I mean, it was crazy how my room was. We had moved a couple different times, but I remember one of my rooms. One of the houses was just all of Miami Dolphin stuff, essentially, probably a little Larry Bird stuff sprinkled out. And then I vaguely remember some of the, like a Wade Boggs and Nomar Garciaparra, those kind of guys too. But I will say I wasn't a huge. Now, a lot of times with posters, a lot of people put musicians and groups.
Of course.
Those. I didn't do a lot of that.
See, I was all over the place. Like I had Crisscross. You remember Crisscross?
Yeah.
So I had Crisscross. I had Shaquille O'Neal. And the Shaquille O'Neal poster was great because it was like him being life-size, and it was like the skyline of Orlando. He was like bigger than the skyline. So that was a cool poster. I had Ken Griffey Jr. I had the 97 Wings Stanley Cup poster that I took a picture together. So I had a bunch of posters as well.
Yeah, and I guess we didn't answer what makes it so great. Like, what makes those shots so great? And I guess we're kidding ourselves if we don't say the historic moments, those poignant moments that are captured or really usually take the cake.
To me, it's like music, where if you hear a song, it reminds you of something, right? Same thing with a picture, where if you see that Brandy Chastain picture, you immediately go back to where you were when you saw it, right? Maybe if you see like a Jalen Ramsey dunking the football or whatever, maybe you go back to when Jalen Ramsey actually did that.
Yeah,
So it brings you back and it
game.
puts you in the time.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah.
All right. You're flying solo. Well, you guys are going. Not solo. You got the show tomorrow.
Brent's giving us the key to the cars, baby.
Keys to the car.
Let's
go.
Why?
Keys to the car because I'm going to go help Kaylee get
Best
her
of luck,
permit.
Kaylee. Yeah, you know what? Luck's for the unprepared. Good skill tomorrow, Kaylee. Good
Absolutely.
skill.
Maybe I'll let her drive there.
There you go. Now
or
we're
at least
talking.
back. She probably should have it first. No, I will not let her drive there. It's all safe, everybody. I promise. Have a good rest of the night. Make sure you watch CBS 47 and Fox 30. Austin and Coos tomorrow here on the show. And Austin gives advice if you are a rookie NFL player. Listen up around the league. It's tomorrow on ESPN 690. Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home or just steering clear of coworkers, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jax on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
These days, the whole world is on the internet 24/7, on their phones, at work, even at the dinner table. It's the internet all the time. So why, when it's time to sell your home, does your traditional agent charge you 6% to list it on the MLS to other agents instead of targeting buyers directly online? That's why Rex was born. For a fee starting at 2%, Rex sells your home where buyers are looking, online, optimized by data-driven marketing, not the MLS. To get started, visit sellwithrex.com. That's sellwithrex.com. With Rex, selling or buying a home has never been easier. Price your home, get a virtual consultation, visit online open houses and showings, all from the comfort of your home with a few clicks of a button. Want to learn more? Visit sellwithrex.com or just use your phone and call 833-REX-HOME. 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. License number CQ 1057788. Minimum fee may apply. Rex fully supports the principles of the Fair Housing Act and Equal Opportunity Act.
Over the last weeks, we found out exactly what we can and cannot live without. We were told what is essential and non-essential. But here's what we learned. Even though some of us were 6 feet apart, others have never been closer. We've come to appreciate love and our relationships more than ever. At Diamonds Direct, we are now open for business again, ready to get back to our mission. We're so proud to be a part of this community, and we're honored to help you celebrate with the ultimate symbol of love. We have taken every precaution to ensure our stores are clean and safe, and our associates are excited to see you in our showroom. But we are now also offering remote and virtual appointments using the latest technology, along with curbside pickups and overnight delivery, so you have every possible option. All this, of course, on top of the guaranteed best values that you expect from Diamonds Direct. So if you've discovered that someone you can't live without, please visit us. Let us help you find that piece of jewelry that will have a story like no other. And remember, no matter what, Diamonds Direct will always be here, because love is essential. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Off Town Center Parkway.
I'm Action News Jax Tanika Hughes. As our communities work to get back to normal, Action News Jax will continue to be on the front lines,
answering your questions about our local economy.
There's reason for optimism.
A dedicated reporter every day covering unemployment, here to make sure state and city leaders are putting your health first.
The mayor will be ready to answer my specific questions.
I'm Action News Jax John Bachman. We know you have questions, and we will find the answers.
Action News Jax. Jax, recovery strong.
Hello, I'm Chuck Barnes. At Barnes & Cohen, we're pulling out all the stops to protect your health and ours. We have the latest software that enables our staff who are at high risk to work remotely without sacrificing first-class representation. Our offices remain open. We have a sanitized conference room, but maybe your best option, meet us here in our courtyard. Barnes & Cohen will continue to serve you in the safest way possible.
Out of sight, out of mind still holds true. When things disappear from your day-to-day life, you think about them less and less. This includes your business. Yes, things are difficult, but if your customers aren't thinking about you now, how can you be sure they will be when this is past? At Cox Media Group Jacksonville, we make sure they will. We'll help you stay on the mind of your customers and even get into the mind of some new customers. Contact CMG Jacksonville at 245-8732 or email buildjax@cmg.com and let's build Jax.
Hello?
Hey, boss.
Why are you calling me?
Well, I was gonna come over, but I thought I should be practicing social distancing.
Oh, that's responsible of you.
Thanks. So I'm calling because I want to read you this new article in the Crooks of Us newsletter.
If it's about Safe Touch security, I don't want to hear it.
Boss, you'll want to hear this. The headline reads, Safer at Home with Safe Touch Security.
Safer at home with Safe Touch?
Yeah. It says, with people staying home more than ever these days, Safe Touch Security is the answer for peace of mind at home.
Yeah. The guaranteed response time, the two-way communicator, the video monitoring.
Yeah, and more.
Great. So what you're telling me is, whether they're home or not, the Crooks of Us motto is stronger than ever. Stay away from Safe Touch houses.
It's written in stone, boss.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Sometimes it's a battle. Oh, those allergies in the Southeast. Hey, everyone, this is Brent Martineau. I've got those allergies. I know all about them. It seems like we are always in allergy season. Right now, Bold City Heating and Air is offering air conditioning system sanitizing with pricing starting at $125. Sanitize your air conditioning system, and that will ease up allergens getting into your home through your AC system. And as much time as we're all spending working from home lately, it is time to get your AC system sanitized. Contact Bold City Heating and Air today to get more information on their air conditioning sanitizing special. Visit boldcityac.com. And if you need a new AC unit, Bold City has 0% financing options and rebates as well. 0% financing for 12 months, 9.9% for up to 96 months. Do what my family did. See my friends at Bold City Heating and Air to make things more comfortable in your home. Just visit boldcityac.com.
This is Pastor Abraham Lincoln Washington, and it's time for the truth. I know you've heard the saying, it's cheaper to keep her. It's simply saying, before you get a divorce, figure out how to play the game. But how about this saying? It's better to love her, and love can give you what you want. This has been Pastor Abraham Lincoln Washington, and the truth will make you free.
Hi everyone, I'm Kim, Client Relations Manager here at Reliant. Reliant has always been focused on the customer experience. Reliant has been a leader in the industry when it comes to using technology to connect with our clients whenever needed. So while everything around us continues to change and other contractors are scrambling to adapt to the new normal, Reliant remains steadfast, ready to serve our clients. Our client coordinators are available to discuss your roofing, solar, and hurricane shutter projects, so give us a call today.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Because you're worried that for once in your life you may be losing money as an owner. No. Guys, we got to come back to the table and renegotiate. I see the angst. I recognize that, and that is completely fair because at the end of the day, only one person is risking their life. Now, to the prospect that this is going to sound really bad, what Blake Snell said, I get that because he does need to be aware that baseball fans were dwindling by the numbers already, and this could be bad PR, and you're going to need those fans when the sport does come back. So be careful how the message comes out.